Here goes nothing. Well, welcome to my podcast. It's actually called Masculinity Uncovered, and the whole point of it is to really kind of dive deep into the roots of the male psychology and their behaviorism. It's kind of tricky to do now because a lot of us, the younger men who kind of grew up in this new culture, um, most of us are basically raised either by extremely overbearing women or feminized fathers or single motherhood, which is a problem. And I kind of had to learn this the hard way. So I I am what you call a pursuer in the old ways of Christianity. So I'm actually attending now an Orthodox Christian church, not Catholic. Um, Orthodox is the original first church. So a lot of the teachings that are based off of it is tradition, pure tradition. Nothing has changed in 2000 years. It's a patriarchal uh, authority perspective. So everything comes from the first 12 apostles and it was descended from there. And yes, they venerate the Virgin Mary, but that's just because of how they call it the Theotokos. That's just how it has been. Mary was the mother of Jesus, and so based on that, she is considered extremely holy. There's more that I still have to discover, but that's the basis of the faith part of it. But
I'm
now
really glad you explained it because I don't understand religion from so many points of view.
you're gonna find something extremely interesting about Orthodoxy. The In the past 5 years, essentially since COVID, a lot of young men are seeking ancient Christianity because when they see how society is developing, they have kind of come to the conclusion that if they keep going down that path, there's not going to be any future left. Uh, most young men, especially, the number one factor they're considering is how they're going to even support a family if there's no finances, so job problems. And then they have the issue with how the kids of the women they're supposed to marry, how stable are there. So there's a whole ball game there, right? That's part of the reason why famous personalities like Andrew Tate, if you've ever heard the name, became so popular, right? um but I
I
mean,
never paid attention.
yeah.
I know there was drama with him, but I never paid attention to what the drama was.
So the idea, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things to debate about his the way he thinks about it, but because he is in favor of polygamy, which I don't think it really works, even if you try to explain it to people. More than likely with polygamy down the line, because this happens in the Muslim faith, they're polygamous by nature. They There's a lot of cases of inbreeding because the generations get mixed up constantly. So, I mean, it's the case with the village, right? People marry within the same village. Eventually, they'll end up with genetically inbred people. So it's always a problem for on many fronts. I think the best solution for that is the original way of one man, one woman, and then have as many children as possible, and then distant people that are nothing to do with your genetic code get married. That's probably the best social expression for uh, lineage, essentially. But anyway, there was a massive shift after COVID where a lot of young men basically said things have to change or nothing is going to change. So a lot of them started seeking. I'm talking about those that are 15 to 24. So very, very young. They started to seek alternative paths than the current status quo, right? And on par with that, what's crazy about it is women decided to go in the opposite direction. They decided to seek feminized churches,
Yeah.
meaning the ones that promote their feelings, essentially modern Christianity. Or they became completely anti-faith. So from the female side, the liberalism mentality kind of rose up. A lot of them became unfortunately delusioned by their own mistakes. And it kind of follows a trend where men are becoming extremely traditional and women are becoming extremely liberal, which is going to be a very interesting paradigm. But
Well, women also take it too far. because they take it in a I'm above them now kind of way.
Sure.
And that's
Sure.
something I don't like because if you don't respect their mindset, they get mad about it. It's like, no.
Yeah. One thing you can test for women, it absolutely riles their nerves up, right? You got to tell them this. Are you a Christian? If they say yes, then you ask them a follow-up question. Do you obey your husband? They get absolutely triggered by this because they think that in the Bible it says nothing about obedience, right? But in reality, it does. The Bible is very strict. That's why I was saying the whole patriarchal faith is from God, Christ, man, women, children, right? Very vertical. And if you say that, they get offended because they think they're beneath a man. But what they don't understand is obedience is part of faith. You cannot follow faith if you don't obey to the law that is inscribed in faith. So that's why I always give a counterpoint if I ever talk with any of these women. I always say, hey, you either are a Christian and you follow the exact way that it's prescribed to be, or you don't. But don't call yourself a Christian if you think obedience is offensive. That usually kind of clears up a lot of things, and then we talk about other things. But it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting when you ask this to especially women. Men kind of understand this, but they kind of try to beat around the bush to kind of please people's feelings. But I've noticed this quite a lot. But anyway, you were saying.
Just, pretty much just the women part. But men have gotten a lot more docile on that topic, as you were saying. Like, they do beat around the bush a lot more. My
Yeah.
dad, with him being older and him and my mom both being in church and everything, my mom is very, as you say, obedient, yeah.
Hmm.
But like, my dad has mellowed out a lot. He doesn't tell her anything anymore. He's very, I don't know how to put it, but now it's she does her own thing and they seem a lot more unhappy.
What do you think about that? What do you like if you had to give a prescription for your parents, what would you say?
I don't even think it relates to faith, but it's like a
Mm,
matter of respect.
okay.
Because when you have a partner, you each have your roles.
Mm,
Whether it's written or not, there's like that mentality that you have a role. Naturally, even though I never shown how to obey, how to treat other people in a sense like
mm,
that, I have the role of keeping house, of doing other things that are not the more masculine aspect.
sure.
My mother has picked up the mentality that she runs everything.
Mm,
And it really bothers me because you watch everything just fall apart.
hmm.
And if you could just respect the standing that everybody else, that your partner has more so.
Yeah.
You guys, this sounds bad, but you guys are kind of made to run everything. That's why you guys are more dominant.
Hmm.
It's not really our place to be dominant. And that's why it gets made to be a joke half the time.
Yeah. The crazy part is when women advocate for running everything, they usually tend to become unhappy because they have that extra responsibility. So you often hear when women say, "Oh, I have to work and take care of the kids," while the man just has to work. They'll complain about this all the time, right? But the reality is, back in the old days, the women used to work the farms, but they used to be keepers at home, and the men either worked the farms or had to go out 12 to 16 hours a day. A lot of those people worked in coal mines, really dangerous jobs, right? So the dynamic was very simple. I mean, during the Industrial Revolution, when this all started, I was back in the day when I studied this, the men barely got home. Like they would have one day off, which was Sunday, but they would work 16 hours. They would go to a bar, drink alcohol, and go back to work. It was that bad, right? So, I mean, life expectancy back in the day was not fun. But I mean, it does tell
Probably not.
it does tell it is kind of crazy. If you want to learn really more about the history of feminism, I actually recommend you to find a specific book. Her name is Rachel Wilson. She wrote a book based on the history of the foundation of feminism and how feminism is based on witchcraft, which is very interesting. Uh,
I'm
it,
not surprised that it's witchcraft.
but in her book, she's actually saying that back in the day, before feminism was pretty popular, witchcraft was the way for empowerment, right? Because it gave them certain powers or fake belief in power. And now a lot of women are turning to witchcraft again because they think the crystals speak to them and the moons speak to them, kind of thing. And you know what's crazy about this? Just barely 5 years ago, I thought astrology was this magical thing. It's all horse crap. But I grew up believing in this. That's what's weird about it, right? Like they said, if you're trying to date someone, you should try to match their horoscope or some crap like that. But then I thought about it. You can have the perfect horoscope, and a lot of those people break up either way. So what does that even tell you? So uh,
I've never
it
trusted
just
the
shattered my whole
horoscope
belief
stuff.
system about what I've believed all my life, basically. I'm sorry, you were saying?
I never trusted the horoscope stuff because I don't see I love the stars and I love being able to like, oh, you can predict how everything's going to go based on everything like that.
Yep.
But that's not how it works.
Mm. Um, but anyway, on to more serious topics with your current situation. Um, from the legal perspective, get things settled on. Have make sure it's in writing. And what I was trying to tell you about the business relationship that you should have with that gentleman, basically, it's talk professionally with him, like, "Hey, how are you doing? Here's this and that. Do you want to reveal the details of it on this because it's going to go on the internet or not? It's up to you."
I don't care. If he
So,
sees it, come at me.
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not popular at all, so the chance that he'll run across it is very, very rare.
Part of me would
Um,
send it to him too. Look what I did today. I did good.
well, don't give him that. All you got to think about it this way: you don't want to add any fuel to the fire because
I
all it's
won't, but
gonna.
it would feel good.
No, I understand. That's part of pride. I get you. I really do. It's like stick it up to the man kind of thing. No, I get you. I really do.
I'll be the bigger person though. I
Oh, it's not even about being the bigger person. At this point, it's kind of like it's all in the past. He doesn't matter. My situation, I got to figure out my own things. So at that point, you basically stop counting on people who don't want to pursue the life that you thought they were going to pursue. So that's why when we first started talking, I was trying to see how you can mend the relationship first. But when you start telling me about all his escapades and weirdness, I was like, and that shit right away. So there's a big difference. Very big difference.
I should have caught on at the beginning
Mm,
because I hate to phrase it like this because I love being the homemaker. It makes
sure.
me feel nice.
Sure.
But he made me his stay at home bitch pretty much. Like,
Do you mind revealing what that means, or do you want to put innuendo so we're not tracking exactly what it says? YouTube can be sensitive.
oh,
No,
yeah.
it's your choice. I don't care. I personally don't care.
Well, pretty much I don't I don't know how to phrase it differently, but pretty much he'd come home from work
Hmm.
and he'd only work like 2, 3 days a week. And I was
Okay.
expected to do everything, like
Yeah.
maintenance on the car, because he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't
Uh,
know. I had to teach him how to do laundry. He would never do dishes. And if I asked for help with anything around the house, it was my job.
yeah.
I'm fine being a homemaker, but when it comes to us having a kid, I need help. And he was never willing to do that.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say that he wasn't how many hours was he working in total if you had to put it if you had to count it?
No more than 20.
So that's a problem, right? If he was
Yes.
working at least 40 to 60 and actually providing some form of financial support, even if it was not perfect, right? Then I would understand where his idea of you be the homework, you do everything for the house comes from. But the fact that he was working so little, I'm guessing the money was not enough. And
No, and he was more worried about going out and drinking with his friends than spending time with his newborn child.
yeah, so well, that is a little bit of a separate topic, how men react to newborn children. But regardless, the responsibility is still the same. Nothing changes, right? Um, like when my first two girls were born, right? I was working 16 hours a day because I wanted to get an extra income. But other than that, the responsibility never changed. I took a couple of days off after the birth, and then I went back to work, right? Other than that, nah. Yeah,
See, I
so
don't think he could ever. He's never held. We were together 4 years.
mhm.
He never held a job for more than 2 months.
Oh,
Yeah, he'd call off so he could go drinking with his friends. And that's where I played my card because had you called off to, help out because I'm stressed, or I had a C-section with both of them. And with our
okay.
first one, I ended up ripping my incision in total about 3 inches.
Yeah.
And I had to go back into the hospital. I got lectured and yelled at, quite literally yelled at, because I should have done more to avoid that. But if I didn't do everything around the house, which broke my restrictions,
Mhm.
I got my butt chewed for that too.
By him, I'm guessing.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah, so there's a. Let me ask you this: what made you be with him in the first place? What was it?
At the beginning, he was very respectful. He seemed like he had his head on his shoulders and he was getting everything together. He was actually working at the time. Like,
Mm.
he had had that job over a year. And then we moved in together and everything changed. He became a whole different person. And at that point, I couldn't just leave. Like, I had put so much time and effort into it. It had been a year.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just walk away from it.
Did you notice any red flags in the beginning at all? Just one.
Yes.
Okay.
2 weeks into us dating, he took me over to his ex's house and asked for a threesome. So yeah, that should have been my
Whoa.
first red flag. Yeah.
So, sorry to ask into this, but did you actually do it or you refused?
Okay, this
It's so
long
private. I'm
story.
sorry. No.
No, long story short, I followed them to the bedroom because they didn't even wait for my response. He
Okay.
proposed it, and then they just walked to the bedroom. So I followed to the bedroom and waited to see how far it got. And then she vomited, and then I crashed out, drank a whole bottle of alcohol, and tried to walk 40 miles home.
You said 2 weeks, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Not even a year. And like, hey, I'll just give you a year to get accustomed to my weird social behaviors. But
Nope.
so
Two
obviously
weeks
that
in.
guy had issues with relationships. Now the crazy part, the fact that his ex was still even up for that is even wilder to me. How old were you guys at the time?
He was 18 or 19,
Mm,
and I'm only 3 months older than him, so it depends on how old he was. So
I
I was
got you.
generally around that area. She was 22 at the time. It was her 22nd birthday. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with an age gap relationship. I'm just trying to figure out the mathematics behind. If they were together, that means he was still in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where my card played because they got together when she was 19,
Mm.
which means he had to be 16, 17.
I mean, guys are horny. They do a bunch of crazy shit. Don't get me wrong. Um,
That ex is
teenagers.
now his girlfriend.
Oh, that's a wild turn of event. Tell me about the situation with the deranged gender person that he had an issue with. You don't have to go into specifics, but you told me about it, and I thought that was absolutely wild.
What where do you want me to go with it?
Oh, just like the general picture of it, and then you know what's funny? When you told me that, I immediately decided that it was better that you have nothing to do with that guy. That was that moment. That's why I'm asking you about it. You can give like a broad statements. It doesn't have to be specific. It's up to you.
I'm not sure where to go with it. I'm not upset about it. I'm more upset about the fact that he lied about it.
I mean,
Because if you're gonna sit there and brag about getting with someone, don't
mhm.
hide the fact that you got with basically the same gender as you.
Yeah, so
Like that's not something you hide when you get back with your ex.
yeah.
In
This
our
is
own bed, nonetheless.
this is part of the reason why I think real faith for men is absolutely crucial. Because when men don't have a guiding point, they tend to lose some kind of moral line guide, I guess you could say, and they tend to do things that, if I look at it from that perspective, I think is absolutely insane. Like I can't even consider doing stuff like that no matter what. But a lot of the new generation folk are like, new times, nothing matters. I don't care. I mean, you'll probably hear those things all the time. As long as people are happy, that's another one I hear all the time. And I was like, no, you cannot go through life thinking, oh, just because I'm happy, that means it's a good idea. In fact, the more happy you are about things, it's usually a telltale sign that there may be something wrong. Be careful, right? A lot of the things that I've come to realize with faith is it's never about happiness, right? It's about purpose. It's about sacrifice, right? It's nothing about me. That's why men, as a general rule, genetically speaking, they're very hardwired to be providers, regardless of how they're feeling. Like, I'm not saying in your case, because your case is one crazy wild ride, but
I'm
all of the
sorry,
men.
I didn't mean to be that chaotic.
No, no, you're fine. I mean, you're telling your story, right? It's good to analyze this because a lot of the times we tend to commit same or similar mistakes unless we really analyze about the problems that happen along the way, right?
And maybe a man will help me understand how he was thinking. Maybe I can understand something. But you
I'll
are
be
the
honest with you.
perplexed.
I don't think there's nothing to understand about him. So in the beginning, when you told me the story, that because as far as I remember, nothing of that happened in the beginning when we started talking.
No, it all
Yeah.
went down a little bit after.
Um, were you guys intimate? How often were you guys intimate after the first child?
The problem, okay, it's not a problem.
Mm,
But the statement is we were never really intimate, and
okay.
his reasoning was he had a very low drive.
Yeah.
And like we accept that. That's
Okay.
fine. But don't make emotional commitments and then hide behind the low drive. Because he would sit there and he'd start talking to people and he'd get in relationships with people, and then he'd go, "Oh, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Sorry, my drive is low." And then I'd find out he was talking to someone, and as soon as he quit talking to them,
Hmm.
or I caught him, his drive was up again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a crazy statistic. When men actually talk to beautiful women, their testosterone increases temporarily, and as soon as they have sex with that woman, their testosterone drops dramatically. It's like the post nut clarity that you ever heard about. It's the exact same situation. Like there's this hype point, and when you reach it, and then intercourse is done, and then that's the end of that testosterone hype. And
The thing
it's very
is none of them ever let him get with them. He always talked to people states away.
yeah. Yeah. In all fairness, I think there's something dysfunctional about the guy. Because first of all, he proposed something kind of crazy, in my opinion, in the first 2 weeks of knowing you, right? Then he started talking to other people where you guys, hypothetically speaking, were in pretty good normal shape and you were willing to have sexual intercourse with them, I'm guessing, right?
We were engaged. You don't look very happy about that.
No, no. Look, it's not that I'm judging you based on what happened, but in order to understand what happened, I kind of need to be judgmental. It's kind of you kind of have to take both sides of the equation.
Well, I fully get that. It's just I can read your facial expressions at least a little bit. It's like, man, I feel that. That's how I felt in my head. I just couldn't facially say it.
It is very easy to judge people. There's no question about that, right? But and in order for me to make a correct judgment, I really need to understand the situation. Unfortunately, I am a man, so I can understand if men are doing crazy things or just being regular men, right? And the difference is a lot of toxic women, meaning women who say all their boyfriends are narcissists, right? Uh, they don't understand the difference between normal, authentic men and crazy men. Very big difference, but they don't know the difference because they think that it's a self. I mean, the men who cheat constantly in relationships and the women think, oh, it's totally fine, right? The, they think that's fine, but in reality, it isn't, right? That- So that's why I will always take this conversation back to faith, right? If you don't have a moral guideline, there's no point, right? In you being in a somewhat pseudo or mixed up relationship such as marriage, right? It shouldn't even cross your mind because when you have children, as in the case that you were telling me, it's going to be messy. Most of the time, those people will not take full responsibility for what they're supposed to do. So there's all these kinds of ins and outs, and all the time you'll get problems, you'll get discussions that are just going to break you down constantly, just absolute cancer when you guys are together, and it just gets messy all around. And I've seen this. Unfortunately, I have seen this type of situation repeat itself, but in a lot of the cases that I have seen, it's not necessarily the men's fault, but it's rather the men can't take leadership because either these men are in relationships that they can't leave based on the legal side of it because of family court, or they simply don't know how to deal with a woman who is essentially crazy, right? So it's a mix of all kinds of things, and then at the end, these men are basically defeated. They don't know what to do. If they leave, they'll lose everything, including that house that they'll still have to pay for. Um, I mean, I we could talk about men problem all the time, but in your case, that guy was not a normal guy. Very, very different story.
I
I
want to
like,
touch on the topic
yeah,
of like how when they leave, they get everything taken. I was so worried about doing that to him just based
yeah,
on how society pulls it now,
mhm.
because it's normally everything goes to the woman.
Yep,
And I hate it because he had me being a stay at home mom. And yes, it was kind of a messed up scenario. He was out messing around, talking to people, doing other stuff.
mm,
But he was still going to work. He was still providing for us. He was still doing what he needed to do to some
yeah,
extent. And when we ended up separating, the
mhm,
court has him paying me $925.
yeah,
He still has the same work ethic he had before.
okay,
And I don't like that they deemed it that much and that they deemed he needs to do certain things with that order, because that's asking so much that I know he's not going to be able to do.
yeah. Question: you don't have to mention my name, but have you talked to him about anything that we were discussing from a legal perspective, or are you kind of keeping it to yourself?
I have not. We started talking a little, what, about a year ago?
Hmm.
He saw your name on my messenger, freaked out because he thought I was cheating on him.
Sure, sure. In
Read
Alabama,
through.
gotta love it. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, I live in Alabama.
I'm all the way in Michigan, so I guess that's the best bet.
Tell me. Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
But so he read through our conversation from the Facebook post that we talked about,
Okay.
and then he will not acknowledge your existence whatsoever, even when we were together. So
Perfect.
he doesn't even know we're still talking now.
That's perfect.
I
Man, I
agree.
really do wish that I could find that post. I think they kicked me out of the group because my post was quote unquote offensive, but I so want to find it. I don't even remember the comments that I engaged in. But as you said, it was all nothing but hate, except a couple of people are like, yeah, sure, or no, whatever the case was. I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
I just remember everyone reaming you because you stated something along the lines of women have a role. And then everyone came at you with this feminism point of view of, oh, we don't have to do this, we don't have to do that.
Mm.
Well, a lot. No, it was based on having kids
Yeah.
and dating and everything. And you said something about like women after 40, and it's like, yeah, you're not wrong. Biologically, we lose a lot of use, if that makes sense.
Of course.
And everyone jumped down your throat about how that was the wrong idea and you were an a-hole and everything else. And it's like, he's not wrong though.
Mm.
We have
Um,
a clock.
for the future, if you ever are having an argument and you make a general statement like women as a general rule, right, after 40, I highly recommend not to for them to have children just because the chance of them having genetic defects or barren wombs, meaning they can't have children, is a bad idea. And somebody, anybody, doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, tells you, not all women, my grandma had 40, you know you're dealing with a low IQ person because they're thinking that the general statement is immediately attacking their personal opinion. But in reality, you don't care about their personal opinion. You're just stating the general fact, right? That's for future reference. That's how you
Well, that's
know,
why I like
okay,
talking
this
to
is how
you.
I have to talk to this person who has a low IQ versus this person who I can actually communicate with. Very big difference. But anyway, let's continue. Um, okay, so man, this is crazy because I know men get reamed in divorce court. No questions about that. I mean, most women in America are filthy rich because of divorce, the majority of the times.
And you shouldn't be because it wasn't just you that had that kid, but
I mean, the
whatever.
the joke of the day is what was her name? Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie, right? She's like, oh, I donated like $20 billion of my money to charities, and then shows next to the ex-husband, which is Jeff Bezos, saying, oh, I just made like 3 billion a day because I own Amazon. And then
Oh,
in the comments, it just shits on Mackenzie because it's like, oh, his money that you're donating got you clear.
literally.
I mean, but it's a joke. I mean, the richest women in the world are either inheritors of wealth, for example, the Waltons, which are the Walmart family, or pure divorce.
I
The
didn't
only
even know
lady,
there was
the
a
only
family
lady,
behind
hear me this.
Walmart.
Say what again?
I didn't even know there was a family behind Walmart, let alone their name.
Yeah, all of these companies, they actually genuinely started as really good companies, except Facebook. Zuckerberg was an absolute, I think he was pretty evil. Like he berated his employees all the time. Now he looks like he's changed, but I think he's the same piece of shit. But Zuckerberg, if you're listening to this, I don't care, but you're welcome. Now he's trying to re-image himself as this patriotic, I allow free speech, but during the 2016 election he was canceling Trump supporters all the time, so just FYI.
I remember that. My dad got mad about that.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of these men were absolutely brutal hard workers. I mean, they would never come back home. Elon Musk is a perfect example of this. He was sleeping at the office. He has had like 5 wives. He has like 20 children now. And now
That's
there's even a joke
crazy.
that all the women are trying to go with Elon Musk because they'll basically be baby mothers, right? And when people call these women out, like, why are you doing this? You're making yourself a failure. They're like, oh, I don't care. I got my stuff paid off. And then it makes you wonder what's wrong with women. Is that really the only thing
Yeah.
that doesn't matter? But I guess it doesn't for a lot of these women. Um, but
And
man, I
it's
keep
not
going in
even,
tangents.
well, it's not even the women that like, because it's not even the women that go for the really rich men either. Because there's that mentality even with people my age and in the general area where I'm at.
Mm,
They still sit there and they're like, oh, if I have a baby daddy, I can get child support and I can do this, this, and this. Like, that's how my mom ran it with my real dad.
whoa.
Yeah, I've already watched that go down. And
Are
that's
they
why
are they
I,
separated?
yes, and my mom is remarried. So is my
That's
dad, but like,
exciting.
that's, That's an adventure.
Sarcastic, sorry, exciting. Man, it's an absolute tragedy. The amount of divorced people and the amount of support that is behind divorce is kind of insane. Um, I mean, a good example of this, which is kind of crazy, is Japan. Right, Japan has probably one of the lowest single motherhood rates in the world, and it makes me wonder because, as a general rule, they're atheistic. Right, they don't believe in God because they've had a lot of problems with religious supremacists because there was a terrorist attack in the 90s that killed like 20 some people in a train, and they basically kind of made it illegal to have any kind of national discussion on religion. So everybody has like their little churches, but most of them basically will never associate with a religion. The only religion that they may have as traditional is probably like Shinto or Buddhist. Sorry, you have a loop. Hello.
Sorry.
That's better. That's better. It's all good. But when I started to think about what's going on, I didn't look much at the studies, right? But I was trying to wonder why the single motherhood rate is there. And I ended up realizing there's no such thing as family support in case of divorce. Like, as a general rule in Japan, the fathers take the children away when there is a divorce. That is insane to me. Now, is there a lot of cases that are probably not fair? 100%. There's no system that is perfect. But it makes me compare and contrast because the only thing that single motherhoods count on here is a crazy amount of alimony and child support. And it's a national system. The amount of services that are geared towards single motherhood in America, absolutely insane, right? And what's even crazier about this is that if men got the exact same situation, like they had to split and they got the children, as a general rule, they would actually be able to support the child without requiring child support, as a general rule, right? Whether that be that they were never the main providers or they were originally, but they'll be able to figure it out and they'll be able to work with people, right? But the inverse is shockingly not possible. Um, I don't know, man. Our society, the way it's structured, and all the social services that are geared towards degeneracy, essentially, is mind numbing.
It's rigged.
Yeah, you could say
It,
that. Corporations are behind all of this, if you ask me.
yeah, that's what baffles me is when my dad took custody of me and my brother because for a while he was the main person.
Hmm.
He struggled so hard because there were so many different. Okay, he worked 50 hours plus easily at a newspaper nonetheless, and he didn't get paid very well.
Okay.
He could not get, he didn't get child support from my mom. And since their court order was technically like 75-25%, he
Hmm.
still had to pay my mom child support even though we weren't there. And he couldn't get food stamps, he couldn't do anything. So we had to scrape by really bad. And that's why we ended up going back to our mom. And he ended up sending us back there.
I see what you're saying. Sorry, daughter came in. Um. Wow. Man, it's rough. Now, if I could just flip a switch and go back to old school, I think we could actually fix society today if that actually happened. Now, this is actually wild. I actually think if women decided to quit the workforce in mass right now, like all of them just simply quit, they would all be together with their husbands or exes, and then the men were absolutely required. I think, for example, we as men, if we were forced to work to provide for our families, if that meant that women did not have to work and were essentially forced to stay home, I think many men would take that bet just based on how they see society right now. And I think also a lot of women will take that bet based on how much they're also struggling on their own. I mean, single women, despite what they tell you, they're just as miserable as men. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, women also play the emotional role a lot better. Men were taught from any point of view. I've met a lot of men that were taught emotions don't play a part in anything.
Yeah.
That really bothers me.
It shouldn't. You want me to explain why?
We are human, our brains are evolved to feel emotions for a
Sure.
reason. There is a time and a place for emotions.
Of course.
My ex partner would not relay any emotions, even at home, in a safe
Mm.
spot. If you can't be emotional with your partner, there's a problem.
Oh, FYI, I'm not emotional with my wife. It's fine.
It's fine. It's not fine.
Totally fine. Well, what you mean by emotion? You mean crying?
I mean just being able to voice any emotion you have. Like he tried to kill himself and he wouldn't even tell me he was depressed.
Yeah.
That's a whole new level of like, at least tell me you need help of some kind. Don't be ashamed to admit that everyone needs help at some point.
The thing is, men can't rely on women for emotional support. It's impossible.
We are literally known as the most emotional thing in this world.
That
Women
that
are.
that's why we consider it unstable from an emotional perspective.
Why though? Because like
Because
if we deal with all these emotions, don't you think we can handle one of your emotions? Like we got 20 in our head every 5 minutes.
I'm gonna give you a hypothetical, and I want you to answer honestly. Be as brutal honest as you can. Let us say you meet the man of your dreams. This guy's like 6'5". I don't care, just hypotheticals, right? 12 pack on his shoulders, knees, and toes. Doesn't matter, right? Right? I mean, this guy is the man. Like no other man compares to him. This guy lifts like 500 pounds. He'll lift you with one finger, whatever the case may be, right? Very wealthy. And you thought, man, this guy tank, right? Like he buzzed through all kinds of life problems, like no issue. But suddenly, one day, he just starts bawling out his eyes. Looks like a bitch. Absolute bitch. What would you say that moment that you saw him there, right there?
It would pretty much be along the lines of, why are you upset? What is going on? Because at that point, I don't feel like my partner should have to be alone in their emotions. Because if I'm going to dump my emotions on them, it's not just their baggage. We both have ties in this.
Okay, that's fair.
And most men, even with the aspect of not relaying emotions normally,
Mm,
well, I guess it's normal to you guys, but like from a women point of view, you guys don't relay the emotions as much as we do. You guys will still have breaking points.
sure.
And you can't ever bash someone for how they're feeling. There's nothing you can do to control that.
Why do women do it though? Why do women bash emotional men? It's a good question to ask because women still do
Ask
it.
a different woman because I have no idea. I've spent the past like 5 years trying to figure out why men can't be emotional.
Okay, let me ask you a further question. That same man, if he does it one time, that's fine, right? No problem. You understand shit happens, right?
I could handle it at least 2, 3 times a week.
What if he does it 2, 3 times a day?
It depends on if he's willing to make progress on what is bothering him.
What if he says he's
Because
tried everything, he just finds no solution, and his only answer is, I'm going to cry to shed all my emotions?
if that's what you're doing and you're just crying to cry, go
Yeah.
for it. Because I do that shit all the time.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm getting at. I'm saying this guy is a bitch way more than you.
I've been with people like that, so that's fine. I would
The real
rather have
question is,
someone
do you
that,
think you can truly respect him as a man if he keeps doing the exact same thing?
yes, because depending on how it really depends on how you treat me during that interaction. Because if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, oh, there's no answer, I don't know how to solve it. Don't sit there and snap at me and tell me it's not your problem. Leave me alone.
Okay.
I would rather have you sit there and cry to me
Mhm.
same day over and over and over about the same problem as long as you can talk about it rather than shutting me out.
What if he cries during sex?
That's a whole new prerogative
So I'm
there.
trying to twist this to see at what point you feel, okay, this is too much, right?
I would feel very, it wouldn't even be like a bad thing. I would just feel like I did something wrong, and then
Sure.
I'm bad in bed if he starts crying in the middle of sex.
The real kicker behind this is if it's a repeated issue and you start feeling like this is too much for me, right? It's you're personally are now breaking because he's breaking all the time and you can't handle his emotions, right? That's what I'm trying to get to.
But how's that any different than a man who has to handle a woman's emotions all the time? Because,
Mhm.
like, just stating from before I went to therapy and sorted my head out, before I got with this ex and everything, I was an emotional wreck. It was either sad or angry, or I was just shut down.
Mm.
That has to get tiring from a man's point of view, too.
It does, but the way we mediate it is we understand that women are naturally more emotional. So we are easy to extend an olive branch saying it's all right. But at the same time, we always give this piece of advice. You need to sort out your feelings and then we can talk. Usually that actually helps women kind of sort their feelings out and then they can relay it better. Um, but the difference is we don't think you're less of a woman if you cry more or less, right? But the problem with society at large, and you have to understand this is actually not a bad thing. When women see men crying all the time for no reason at all, it doesn't matter what it is, right? They think of men as less manly. It's all natural. It's just what it is. Because if the men are emotional all the time, who's going to do the hunting, right? Who's going to be the provider, the protector, right? It's all tied into the genetics. There's nothing you can change about it, no matter how much you try to convince people. You might be an
You can
exception
still
to the
hunt a
rule.
deer. You can still hunt a deer when you're crying your eyes out.
What
You
if
just
he's
can't
like, "Oh,
cry
I'm about to
loudly.
kill this deer. Let me shed a tear right here." Right? I'll be honest. I think you might say this. I've met a couple of women who say the same thing, but realistically speaking, it's probably not going to happen. Um, I know 100% it's repulsive for a man to constantly cry and bitch about his problems. I mean, even if I listen to a man bitch and complain about his problems, I'll get tired of him immediately. So if
Immediately, he
yeah, I
says.
mean, like, I know what your problems are, right? So this is how you got to fix it. One time, right? I'll tell you this one time so you can know what to do. But if he keeps constantly complaining and bitching about the same problems, he's not fixing it. I mean, I'm talking about like, oh, I'm bawling out. I can't handle my life. Right. We'll get tired of you immediately. I mean,
If
men,
you don't make any attempt to change or to solve the situation, yeah, that would get tiring at some point.
sure.
But most men I've met will sit there, and if they get upset about something, I can't say from the aspect of emotional, because I've only had one emotional ex.
Hmm.
But even then, he sat there and he complained about one situation, and he cried like every day for, I'd say, a good 2 months, and I kept telling him how to solve it. And then finally he went through and he solved it, and he was like, "Well, thanks." And then, but most men won't listen if a woman suggests something.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to understand, right? It's a bruise to our ego when we have to listen to a woman tell us how we should correct our personal mistakes, even though we know what to do. Again, this is all genetic. People try to fight against genetics all the time, but I mean, it's like this. Let us say that I hunted something, right? And and then a woman who never hunted is telling me that I should hunt it this specific way. I mean, we'll get our ego bruised, obviously, but the reality is not every person is the same. So men could get emotional and their significant other be totally fine with that. But if we are talking in generalities, unfortunately, most women aren't like that.
Yeah.
Give me a second. But
Love kids.
yeah, they can become a pain in the butt. Maybe one day I'll be fine with it. Um, I don't know. The whole talk about emotions and relationships. The reality is, this is how I put it into perspective. If you have two broken people, regardless of how they try to fix each other, it's just going to end up in disaster. So, I think in order for that emotional space to be created, there has to be a stable personality behind it, right? But if you're constantly broken down, even though you get advice from all kinds of people, it's never going to change, and the other person will get tired of them. I think that's probably more common than not. But if you have the stable person and they break down once in 20 years, right? It probably won't change anything. That's, I think, the big distinction. You have to have a
Okay,
stable
so
personality and a stable relationship for, vulnerabilities to happen. But if not, you can't really expect much.
okay, then I want your opinion on like a very specific situation.
Like something that I've seen or experienced or heard about.
Something I went through, and I just want to know like your opinion based on it.
Okay, you can be as open as you want to.
Um, with everything he did,
Hmm.
it tagged a lot of emotions because
Sure.
I always thought I was doing something wrong.
Okay.
And therefore, it's constantly, at least once a week, I would ask him, why am I not enough? What am I not doing? What am I not giving you for you to keep going?
Okay.
And instead of any kind of conversation, it would be, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Hmm.
Where did that come from? Why is there no, well, why was there no, I don't even know how to phrase it.
Why was there no conversation, you think?
I guess, yeah. Like there was no leniency with any emotion. I had to be the steady rock the whole time.
This is tricky because in a good relationship, even if he were to tell you that I don't want to deal with this, you wouldn't have a bad feeling about it, but I'm guessing you did have a hunch that there was something wrong and you didn't know what to do about it. Part of the problem, right, with relationships is that when a man is either stressed, doesn't want to talk to nobody, or is dealing with things that he cannot explain, he tends to become very angry. And so his answers are very short, very harsh. They kind of cut straight. And you might get what he basically answered. I don't want to deal with this. But the problem with your situation is that you guys already had problems. So what I can guess is that he was already dealing with things from the outside world that were not beneficial to himself. And he just thought you were annoying. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense, but it's slightly aggravating.
Of course it was. So the problem as to why it was aggravating is he thought you were absolutely annoying and not for a good reason. I think he despised you based on what you've been telling me. And whether
Why did he have two kids with me then? That don't make sense.
should I explain you genetics of spreading your seed?
No, not today.
Basically, men want to have kids. It doesn't matter with who, right? But this goes back again to faith. If you have kids, you take care of them, you're a provider. If there was no faith, men would be the absolute craziest animals because our genetics are like that, right? We're there to conquer. That will never change. I mean, the old conqueror is like you invade a nation, you take war brides, right? Concubines were pretty popular. Now you gotta
As a
make the
man, though, I
money.
think that would be pretty bougie. Like, I think I get that it was messed up to
Mhm.
sit there and like take over nations and just take all their women, but at the same time, that's kind of a cool idea.
It, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't want to live in those moments because the chance of a unstable society was extremely high. Like
Well, we kind of got there
like
anyways.
like let's say you created a kingdom today, everything seems stable, and the next day you got assassins in the court. They killed all the king and his protectors. The whole country's destabilized the next day. That's how bad it was, right?
Yeah.
But now nations have a sense of stability. So there's a difference, I would say. And with your whole bougie, yes, it sounds great. Hey, yo, I'm just gonna conquer this land, but the reality, I don't think it was that pretty. If I'm honest with you, most of the men were absolute slaves to slaves, whatever. But worker bees, nothing different now. But most of them, when they went to war, wouldn't survive. I mean, it's a tale as old as time, right? So I don't know.
Have children. Have children before you die. And if you're gonna go to war, might as well have children with anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that was the policy. You have as many children as you can. But even then, the statistics show that only about 40% of men actually ever had children until the 60s, and that changed to like 30%. And it's going down. The majority of men are still not having kids. Over 60%. It's really wild.
Yeah, that I didn't even realize those statistics. That's a little messed up, honestly.
Now, the flip side is women, the majority of women were having kids back in the day. Like somewhat like 80%. So they were having sex with all kinds of men.
Well, that's no different than now because you've got women that have like 3 or 4 different baby daddies.
Yeah, today's society is a whole nother ball game. But I
I
I
don't even
am
want to be in this society.
I no, I understand. I have a very pessimistic view of life, but what I end up realizing is that the one statistic that really does give me hope is that of men. The younger men are seeking ancient Christianity. They realize the ills of society. And so they're thinking, what path do I want to take, right? Um, for example, for men, if I had to advise them on when they should actually partake in the whole marriage and dating and having kids, I would say you got to be 32. You got to marry an 18-year-old woman so that you have the best chance of healthy children, but also you are financially stable to support that woman completely. Because today it is so much harder to get a decent paying job. So I estimate about 10 years just to build enough money to have a decent place, because no man wants to raise his kids in an apartment. I see them all the time. It's a very unstable life. It creates a lot of problems. I was there before. Trust me.
Is that why arranged marriages became such a big thing in certain countries? Because everyone complained about really older, like 30, 40-year old men getting with these young women. And, like, yeah, some of them were a little too young. I do
Yeah.
see that point of view. But I completely understand, and I honestly kind of agree with you with the topic of 30s
Mm.
being a general area to ball game at for having kids and then getting with a younger woman. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about what women think, the older women think about younger women getting married, but that's a topic for another day. But the yes, arranged marriages actually have a very interesting perspective. If you have to think about it from a societal stability perspective, it makes more sense because they don't marry for love, right? Even though a lot of them will report that they fell in love eventually in a marriage, but they are. I'm not here to cross my T's or anything, but a lot of, you could say, Old Testament marriages, meaning like Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, and all of those, they have this odd relationship about what they understand women to be adults as, right? So it's not unpopular in a lot of these old cultures, right, to have wives that are like 10, 11. Don't get me wrong. I'm not there. I don't support that. I think it's absolutely crazy in my opinion. Um, but it's also good to understand why these societies keep growing, right? So from our perspective in the West, the best chance of a real stable marriage is if the man is financially stable before he gets into a relationship. This whole idea that we must grow together, that's really more on a relationship base, not a financial base, because what people don't realize about growing your finance together is it creates an extra tension that you don't need. I mean, do you think any woman is like, yeah, man, let's just grow money together. It's gonna be fun. I don't think most women think like that, right? I think a lot of women think I want to be in a safe place. I want to be in an environment where I can grow and mature, something that I don't have to worry about. But if now the
Why
women
am
have
I
to
so
worry about
weird then?
money, you know,
Why am I so weird then?
in
Because
what
I
way?
don't follow a lot of these generic.
There are exceptions. I met one other lady, funny enough, through Legal Legends. She was 17 at the time, and we were talking about the dating dynamics, and I explained to her all the problems with. You got a loop, sorry.
That is a lot of wind.
Oh, I got you. There, and I was trying to tell her that unfortunately the men of today are nothing like the men in the past, right? The men of today want nothing to do with the modern woman, meaning that any woman who they feel immediately that is disobedient, they will not even interact with her at all. But the modern woman thinks, oh, I should be able to challenge you. But the young men think they don't want nothing to do with that, right? So I gave her all these steps on how to actually maintain your men happy, because when men are happy in a relationship, they actually tend to be pretty stable. They know what to do, gives them mental clarity, right? And it was in particular how to take care of your men specifically. And obviously it had involved, what kind of things that he desires from an intimate perspective. I mean, it's no secret. Look, you can ask any man what kind of things he wants on an intimate perspective. He'll flat out tell you two or three things. That's it. Like it's not like, yeah, I mean, I need this whole list of, I need cosplay on Monday. I need to wear a hot dog suit on Tuesday. None of that crap, right? But a lot of that, like on the top of the list, they will say, I need a stable sexual experience during the marriage 50% of the time, even if they don't say that. And then the other one is food. And then the other one is just being next to him, but don't talk to him. Just listen to what he's trying to say. And, if he asks you a question, then you can answer. But a lot of the times when you build on that foundation first, the relationship is absolutely stable. I've seen it time and time again. And I've seen it very few, but time and time again that it does work, right? It's the whole complexity of masculinity and femininity revolving in one. It's the femininity completely becoming the gentle nature. And that's what a lot of women really do miss. They don't understand what that means, because don't get me wrong, their mothers and their grandmas are nothing but strong, independent boss babes. Like, in fact, that lady's mother, absolutely strong, independent. I'm actually surprised that she turned out the way she was. So, but that was like, of all the young people I've talked to, just probably 1 out of 20. It's really rare, like, to actually find a genuine woman who is willing to listen to what I'm trying to say. Very, very rare. A lot of them are so man, you can observe this anywhere. You can ask them what you think about how should relationships be. They all tell you it's all about equality, equality. And I'm like, there's no such thing as equality in a relationship. People got roles, got responsibilities. And when one person fails on that, the whole relationship becomes rocky. There's no ifs and buts about it. People can give me all these examples about equality, but I can point to a single flaw in that relationship, and then you can dig deeper, and you'll see an issue. It's, I mean,
Equality is a very touchy topic because, at least from a woman point of view,
sure.
or at least in my point of view,
Yeah.
because I don't understand the point of women wanting equality, but because every time they want equality, they then complain about the responsibilities that they now have. If you would just, accept that some things are not meant for you,
Mm-hmm.
it would go so much smoother.
Yeah. I think unfortunately the biggest problem with the topic of equality is there's a couple of verses in the Bible that talk about that men and women should submit to each other under Christ, right? But what they don't understand is there is also another verse that says that men exclusively are the heads of their wives. It doesn't say girlfriends, but it does say wives, right? And they immediately think, oh, because it says here that they're equal, that means that we are equal and the man is not the head. But it obviously states both of those things, right? So a lot of women misinterpret that, saying we're completely equal in a relationship or towards God. But the big differentiation is, if there was such a thing as pure equality in a relationship, it would say in the Bible that women are also the heads of the husbands, then at least you have something to contrast, but you don't. There's only a one-sided relationship where who is the head and who is the follower. And it not only says submission to your husband, it says obeying, which is a very big, touchy-feely subject. So you see where that kind of goes.
Because obeying is deemed as a bad thing from
It
most
is, of
points of
course,
view.
it's of course deemed as a bad thing because, and this is what's funny. Like the word sounds bad, but when you kind of dissect into what that means, for example, if your man says, "Hey, make me a sandwich," right? The obey part is, "Oh, okay, honey, I got you." That's it. That's literally it. There's nothing complicated about it, right? But it's like, how dare you tell me to make a sandwich? You can make it yourself. I was like, you just introduced two sentences that didn't even need to be said. Like,
I would love if someone would sit there and just tell me basically what they want like that. And it's like the only thing I require in return is some kind of affection. Give me a hug because I just did that shit for you. Like, that would be great.
Yeah,
He
but
would he would just tell me to do shit and then ignore my existence. And it's like gratitude goes a long way. Like at the end of the day, just thanks for everything.
yeah,
That would be great. It doesn't have to be after every task.
sure.
But that was my one issue is I have no problem obeying everything that is said to some extent. Some things were preposterous. Like, the 2 weeks in kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, so the Bible does say that there is instances that essentially are basically sins, right? I mean, this case of the 2 weeks, that's a complete violation of the contract of marriage, right? So you cannot obey something that violates the original nature of love and protect until hell, until death do you part, right? This is not part of the obedience nature. Now, however, I will give a caveat. A lot of women, when you tell them that I'm willing to obey my husband, um unless I think it's bad, right? But the reality, what they're saying is when they decide this is worth obeying, they will, but it has nothing to do with the purpose. So that's why when people tackle the obedience, it has to be absolutely clear, right? You're supposed to obey your husband under all circumstances unless it is purely immoral. Very different. One second. I kind of hide your name because I don't know which are the prying eyes. Whatever the case may be.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But but the whole topic with obedience, I'm like, if your man, this is the thing, in your situation, it's abnormal. I cannot give you a guidance based on that, based on what's happening, right? But if we're talking about a normal average Joe, he goes to work, he doesn't mistreat in a very bad way or even a crazy way to his wife. Doesn't
I'm
slap
just
her
gonna
across
have
the
you
room.
judge my next boyfriend.
Oh,
I'm gonna have you verify all of them because
you can, but I'll be very honest with you. The
that's the whole
chance,
point.
the chance that that your so-called new boyfriend will mistreat your children is very high.
Oh yeah, because you can't expect a man to take on another man's kids.
Correct. In fact, your best chance is to find a man that has kids and help him understand, hey, I understand we both have kids, but please know I will treat your kids as my own. No questions about it. I will respect you as such. In fact, those relationships are actually pretty successful. But in that case, there has to be that initial conversation is, hey, I understand we're both in a difficult situation, but I want to be with you and I want to do my best to make our relationship extremely well sounding. So, and that's the part where you kind of establish the rules of this is where I'm basically going to obey my future husband, hypothetically speaking. But that conversation really has to start early, right? And yes, don't get me wrong, even if everything kind of checks out the boxes, there can still be problems. I got no questions about it. There's always outliers, But as a general rule, a lot of people, they come in with these misconceptions that, oh, I'm just gonna be my own thing, both men and women, right? Um, so I don't know what to say about that. I love my family. Always interrupting. My office is like right next to my kitchen. I have a garage that I need to fix up, and that's gonna be my gym and my studio eventually. But it's been a long process. I don't really have a. I'm going to school full time right now, but
Damn,
eventually,
for what though?
cybersecurity.
And you struggled this much getting this set up.
I know, right? That's crazy. But anyway, the point with cyber, it's more about an analysis than anything. So obviously, there's apps that you look at, right? And you see when there's flaws in systems. That's kind of what I do. I'm not a tech guy, but I am good at observing trends. I love statistics. Like it's actually very easy to make a like you can gather a bunch of information with AI and tell AI, hey, make me this graph based on these 10 factors, right? Absolutely amazing. In the past, that was absolutely impossible. Like you had to save different studies, right? Like, oh, this study from this newspaper that may or may not be worth, right? But with AI, it's so quick. You can gather everything you need instantly. It's kind of insane, if you don't ask me.
I just don't understand how technology works at all. So AI just baffles me.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to ask you about your job situation. Could you mind explaining me what's the case with that right now?
I have a job lined up once I hit my 8 weeks because my OB mandated me at 8 to 10 week recovery
Okay.
because of how I ripped my incision the first time, and I kind of already made the mistake and ripped again. But
I'm sorry, please continue.
but I'll get to go back to I love factory work. So I'll get to go back to it. Yeah.
Explain.
I used to work in a factory. The first time I worked in a factory, we made car parts. So I got to do all the wiring with that. And I just love the repetitiveness of it.
Hmm.
And I feel like I don't get the time to exercise as much as I would like to.
Okay.
And I feel like that's going to be even more so now with 2 kids. Factory keeps you active. It keeps you up and going. So I really like factory stuff.
Are your hips weak?
I wouldn't really say weak, but they don't move when you have kids, apparently. They're supposed to, but...
This might kind of be out of the blue, but there is a single exercise that will absolutely kill your hips, but absolutely great for training. It's called horse stance, and you'll see it online. It's the ones that have their kind of legs tilted down and they kind of maintain stability. It burns. I mean, I can't even do a minute of it. Absolutely burns. You can look for it online, horse stance. Train on that like 5 minutes a day. I think you'll feel a big difference.
It's not even like my legs that are the problem. I want arms. I want to be strong. I want to be able to lift things, but my body isn't built to gain muscle there. It's built to gain in my legs.
Train your grip? That was being sarcastic.
I mean, it'd be okay.
Yeah.
Anything.
I mean, it is true. I have always believed that women training heavy weights absolutely crucial for their bone density. No questions about that. Also, what is your food like? Because that's a big factor.
When I lived like on my own and I actually got to make my own meals, because I live with my grandma right now. Before she started just cooking, because all she really eats is meat and potatoes. I'm not Irish.
Oh.
So I'm not going to play that one. I have a thing about vegetables. I love vegetables.
Okay.
And so that was a big priority of it. But I love the homemaking aspect. So if I can make a whole meal, I love the idea of being able to, I used to do it all the time.
You
Yeah.
get your meat, you get your vegetable, you get all of your stuff. I can't do that anymore, though.
Oh, what happened?
My grandma will not eat very many vegetables at all. She
Mm.
eats spinach, but she only eats like the soggy canned spinach.
Ew.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
This is
you.
not Popeyes, ma'am. You know,
I
Popeye's the cartoon. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I love actual spinach, like the plant spinach, not
Do you have any health issues?
low iron, but that's genetic.
Okay. This is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but your best bet for iron is beef liver.
I know, and I can't stand liver. My 1-year-old loves liver, but like,
You could do this, and I actually highly recommend you do it. Investigate natural sources of iron through animal products, and it's probably a mix of fat and meat. I think eggs actually have some form of iron. So if you eat like 8 to 10 eggs a day,
that's a lot of eggs a day.
should I tell you my story?
Yes.
So back when COVID started, I unfortunately got the COVID shot twice because I was forced to in the military. Ever since then, I can't actually run very well because I get massive heart palpitations if my heart exceeds a certain level. Um, I have no idea what it is. I've gotten tested multiple times. They can't find a cause. They would have to do something called a stress test to see what exactly is happening. But based on
Stress tests
everything,
aren't fun.
I can imagine. I mean, the name sounds terrible.
I've done 2 of them. They're not fun. I don't recommend them. You have to run on a treadmill for like 20 minutes and then they just immediately bump you up really fast. And
Sure.
you either feel like you're going to vomit and pass out or it's okay.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it once because I'm actually trying to find out what's wrong with my heart. But two things I found out very quickly is that I stopped being able to process too many carbohydrates during the day. Please guess what foods are carbohydrates?
Those are breads. Those
Breads,
are like grains
pasta.
and stuff like that.
But you know what is an unsuspecting customer for carbohydrates?
Are those eggs?
All vegetables.
Wait,
Dead serious.
really?
Oh yeah. So there is a long chain in vegetables. In fact, I don't know if this sounds crazy, but have you ever heard the term caramelized onions?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what happens when you saute onions?
Honestly, no, I just know they cook.
They taste sweet, right?
Well, yeah.
So there's a process of breakdown between their long chains. I don't even remember the exact name, but it just stuck to my head so hard that I remember it to this day. And that was that all vegetables, when they break down a certain amount, they release sugar, carbohydrates. And I started to do a massive investigation behind what is the cause of human inflammation. And I ended up realizing that the reason that most Americans are highly sick is because they're constantly inflamed. And I started to look at the foods that they ate as a general rule. Fast food, seed oils. Seed oils is in everything, just so you know. If it's packaged, more than likely it has seed oil. Um, I mean, you name it. I mean, Sonic, for example, the drive-through has a smoothie that is 246 grams of sugar. 246. That's the whole thing just made out of sugar. That's just wild. I mean, I could go on and on and on, right? But the problem is not only the sugar. The problem is that you have all these other chemicals that are adding to the inflammation in humans, right? So I started to
Well,
think
it's like
about
all
this.
the preservatives. Preservatives make women menstruate a lot sooner. Women are getting their periods a lot faster based on that, too.
I'm glad you mentioned this because I have a wild theory about women and their cycles. For example, you know how we used to say women should probably have children before they're 40 years old?
Yeah.
I actually think women should be very cautious about having children past 30 because of all the natural things that we are surrounded by. The chance that even those babies will get genetic problems due to the food that we consume, very high. people can't really understand this because it doesn't really happen that often, or we don't know that it happens. But I can guarantee you, a lot of children that are born after 31, they will have issues. I mean, sky high rates of autism, ADHD, all kinds of issues, man. But I mean, also
My
the
sister is kind of proof of that too, because my mom was 35, 36, and my little sister ended up. Me and my brother are fine,
Hmm,
but my younger brother and my younger sister, since they're only 7 and 8 right now,
yeah,
they both came out with a lot of issues. And that sounds bad, but like my brother has asthma so extreme that
mm,
if he runs around for more than an hour, like for recess,
mhm.
he has to have his inhaler because he will quite literally asphyxiate himself.
I mean, I can
And
imagine.
asthma doesn't run in our family at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to like I don't have a concrete proof of this, but when I think about everything in perspective, there's more genetic issues today than there were in the past. That has to be tied to this food and the environment somehow. We eat a shit ton of plastic all the time, plastic water bottles, utensils. I mean, you name it, right? There's plastic everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, the studies were suggesting that humans eat about a credit card worth of plastic a day. So
That's
t-
crazy.
that is very crazy. I mean, that tied in with the unhealthy food that we do eat, which more than likely has been wrapped in plastic, right? And then more and more studies are coming out that microwaves are absolutely poisonous, and especially if you heat your microwave food that is plastic, which most people do.
Well, yeah. And now
And
they've
then
got plastic plates and plastic bowls, but they're microwave safe, so that's great.
microwaves say, hey, I boiled ramen in a cup ramen noodle in the microwave and it was safe, but that is styrofoam and that is absolutely toxic as hell, right?
You're actually not supposed to put those cups in the microwave.
Here we are. I
Should
burned down
have.
once a microwave because I put a cup ramen because I was very young. Obviously, I didn't know things, but it was fun. Um, but I
It was
mean,
fun.
all of these things. So my theory is that if you're gonna have children, it has to be really early, especially now, because you don't know how sick your body is gonna be past 30, which is when you start losing all of your healthy natural health, your energy and all that. Like if it was a normal situation, it wouldn't matter to me. Um, like when you talk about genetic conditions, a lot of people will complain and say, "Oh, we didn't have data in the past." But the reality is all you got to do is look at now. Look how many sick children there are. A third of children are obese in America. Absolutely insane. Um, the food is terrible. The environment is terrible. Another one that is absolutely shocking, right, is that sunscreen is now being theorized as the causer of skin cancer. Who would have thought that, right?
Yeah,
Theories.
because that's
This is all
supposed to be your
theories. Otherwise, they'll call me conspiracy theory.
Okay, but I can see why.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we made it to prevent that. And on the topic of women having kids after 30,
Mm,
once you hit a certain point, and it's different with everyone. I
Sure.
used to work in the medical field.
mm,
But as you get older, it's not just your skin that like gets loose and everything like that. Like all of your internal organs, as you age, they slowly start to digress.
of course.
And once you hit a certain point, the skin inside of you, like your intestines, your uterus, your bladder,
Mm,
everything starts thinning out because you have to divert the nutrients other places as you get older.
yeah.
Your body will naturally divert it to your bones or to your blood, other things like that. How are you supposed to adequately create a child with your blood and everything else when your body is already diverting it based on your age?
Uh, Actually, there is a couple of things that you can do, surprisingly, despite how crazy the world is. But one of them is actually you either have to grow your own vegetables and your meats, or this is going to sound absolutely conspiratorial. You have to eat animal-based foods only. Because, hear
Fine.
me out. This is
We
absolutely
love
wild.
deer here.
Yeah. This is absolutely wild. Have you ever heard of the terminology glyphosate?
No.
Have you ever heard of a company called Roundup, which a lot of old folk use?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
There's a massive lawsuit that it may be still ongoing. I don't know now what, but they have a chemical compound called glyphosate, and it is a massive disruptor of the endocrine system. The endocrine system controls inflammation control, tissue repair, all kinds of things that are important. And a lot of people have been persistently using Roundup to kill all the weeds in their garden, have endocrine disrupting issues, cancers, nasty stuff, right? And when I started looking into this, I started thinking what foods get glyphosate in huge quantities. Please guess what is the number one source of glyphosate poisoning?
Probably vegetables.
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter if it's organic. Like it's less than organic, but still. The problem is that glyphosate is now so embedded in soil that even meat is getting it, right? But the problem that the benefit of meat is that if you eat steak, there seems to be a massive reduction in glyphosate poisoning because the cows, they have four stomachs, so they keep processing it. That's the way I put it. I mean, you if you want, you can look at this if you have time. What is the least amount of glyphosate chance that you can get? And you may hear some crazy things out there. Some of them probably are not true, but meat is probably your safest bet. Now,
My green peppers and green beans have been killing me my whole life.
but that's why I say unless you grow it yourself, right? Um, but even then, man, like there's stuff out there that we don't even know how dangerous it is, but we think it's completely safe. I didn't even know about this until 5 years ago. I didn't even know that plastic was toxic in microwave until 5 years ago, right? So
COVID hit and you just went on a Google spree.
I mean, there was even studies that saying that before COVID, 0% of patients were asking natural remedies on how to treat incurable diseases to their doctors. After COVID, 80% of their patients were asking for natural remedies on how to treat incurable diseases. That tells you that people realize what's going on. The hospitals, the pharma industry, the food industry, they're all tied together. Food is sick, patient gets sick, gets treated in the hospital, insurance is extremely expensive, boom, destitute poverty immediately. That is wild to me. There was even a saying, and you can cut me off if I'm talking too much, but there's even a saying that humanity today is basically a walking wallet from the cradle to the grave. They never stop being indebted to the system.
Well,
I thought that was
I can
crazy.
see that. Having a kid, you can really see that from the beginning. Well, maybe you can't because you actually take care of your kids, but like,
Hey, I try my best. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's tough sometimes, but I really did try. Both of my kids are sick today, so they couldn't go to school. But
but that's just the basis of being a parent. You're gonna get those moments where you just,
love you, girl. She does that sometimes. I think she notices when I don't want to talk to her. She says, "I love you." She is very sweet.
Mine thinks that I'm gonna leave the house every time I try to go to the bathroom. So every time I go to the bathroom, he has to give me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. And I'm like, dude, I'm not leaving.
That sounds about right. Sounds about right. Yeah, kids are very perceptive. They're very sensitive. They don't understand obviously the difference between right and wrong unless you're specifically strict with them. This is wrong. This is wrong, right? So they'll relay it to their younger siblings. This is wrong.
That's why mine seasons his pacifier with the dirt. I keep telling him he's gonna get worms, but like,
that's the other thing, right? In the past, we didn't care. We said eat the dirt. I ate dirt when I was a baby. I ate a bubble gum when I was 7 years old that was being stepped on, eaten by ants, on the road, I picked it up and I ate it. And I used to think
That is a whole different
that
level.
made me strong. I was so strong. Now I wouldn't even dare think about something like that because that's the problem with the change in when you see things differently is like, oh Lord, what if it's actually infected with some kind of disease? Back in the day, we didn't even worry about that. That's what's crazy to me. I mean, I lived in a different country. If you haven't noticed, I have a little bit of an accent, but
Just a little bit.
just a
Not
little
not a
bit.
lot.
Just a tidbit. But I used to live in a sub-Saharan country in Africa. The national language was Spanish, and my parents were missionaries there. So, I mean, I used to be one of the last kids that I remember that would stay up at night with my friends under our house, like the kids we used to gather, like, and we went all the way through high school, right? No issue because the society at the time was very normal. People were just easygoing. I mean, people had their struggles, sure, but everybody understood. Oh, they're children, they're just playing. Don't bother the kids. Let them do what they want, kind of thing. I mean, there were times in summer vacation where I would leave the house at 6 a.m. and I would come back at 10, and my parents were like, "Where were you all day?" Right? God, I had
My
so
mom
many
would
stories.
beat me. My mom would beat me if I just disappeared for a whole day. I had to tell her where I was going, what
Yeah.
I was doing, who I was with.
Okay. I do have to give a preface. If my daughters did that, I would be careful. But my son's got to adventure. I mean, of course, this is the thing. I also have to be cautious because I think there's more degenerate people today than there were back in the day, by all
How
standards.
old are you even?
I'm 32.
I never asked your age. We
I
are
see.
exactly 10 years apart.
I look maybe younger or older. I've heard both, but I have a very much of a baby face. That's probably because I was kind of a late bloomer. So, I mean, I think I had my puberty at 14. I was really late.
Is that late?
I think so. For a guy, probably 12 is the starting point.
That's crazy.
But anyway, man, Africa, so many stories. My best friends are from there still. I talk to them as best as I can. Um Overall, even though if the people we were kind of poor as a general rule, but there was a amount of social cohesion that you just can't find anymore. I mean, I barely talk to my neighbors, even though we live 5 foot apart, right? But I don't know. There's something that changed in society that it's kind of hard to pinpoint because we all kind of like to blame specific things, but the reality is it's probably everything. You cannot pinpoint it to a single thing. It is both men and women's fault, right? The distrust between men and women's fault, it's both of our problems, right? Even if I
Yeah.
want to blame one gender or the other, it's both of us. That we can't deny it, right? Men, we enable bad behavior in relationships, and women take advantage of being enabled for bad behavior so they continue to cycle. And men are absolute simps most of the time because they can't say no to their wives that you cannot do something, right? So and then the children learn from this, and then they have the same exact relationships. It creates broken families, even if their parents were stable. And then the cycle goes on and on. So that's basically my 2 cents about that.
I just don't think we. A common statement you hear when it comes to mothers, or something I've heard a lot, is it takes a village to raise a child. We don't have that kind of social tie to rely emotionally or even physically
Yeah.
on one person because we can't keep our relationships together. Therefore, our children don't gain that social experience or that bond or that trust. So we're just slowly diverting away and becoming a lot more, I don't know if antisocial is the word, but regressed.
That's fair.
We're very
Antisocial.
isolated.
Sure. I don't usually recommend this to people, but do you have an Orthodox church near you?
I don't know. We went to church once, and I believe that was a Pentecostal church.
I want you to hear me out.
Never again after that did
Okay.
I ever hear anything of religion. I was not raised in a religious aspect.
I understand. Most children aren't, despite what we try to say in America. Most children are not really raised religious.
Why does your car sound like shit though?
Say
Sorry.
what?
Someone drove by and their car sounds so bad, and it was like, man, please.
It's fine. um, the Orthodox Church, in particular, doesn't hyper specifically encourage people to only follow orthodoxy. Very interestingly enough. But I personally, I have come to the realization that anything that came after orthodoxy does not make sense to me, because all of it is an interpretation of an interpretation. I mean, the Baptists, the Pentecostals, the non-denominational that are constantly with their hooping and hollering in churches, that's all crap to me, if I'm honest with you. But the Orthodox standard position is, if anybody seeks Christ, that is enough, right? But if I were to recommend anybody, you have to go back to ancient times, what they were talking about. And Orthodoxy is very specific. There's no emotionalism involved in the faith, right? It's all about understand what the practice and tradition is, right? So I would recommend, if you want to follow faith, start with Orthodoxy. It's gonna blow your mind the amount of history there's in there. I mean, insanity. I didn't even know that in the year 303, 20,000 Christians were killed by the Roman Empire. I didn't know that. But surprisingly, they're all martyrs basically, because they refused to denounce their faith, so they got killed. But
Well,
absolutely
if you feel
insanity.
strongly enough about something, there's no reason to denounce it.
Yeah. But little nuggets like that. But it's definitely worth exploring faith, because a lot of the people, one of the biggest reasons people follow or pursue faith is because they've basically given up on everything else. Nothing makes sense to them. Everything is kind of in disarray. Their mind is cloudy. They can't think straight. I've been there, so I can tell you by experience. This is basically what you're gonna feel at some point, right? It's gonna happen. You just don't know when, right? You can't predict.
Well, I just went to drugs with it instead of church.
You say what?
I just went to drugs instead of church when it came to that point.
Have you done any hard drugs?
Yeah, I'm almost 4 years clean.
Wow. What was the drug?
I did coke, I've done meth, I've done
Jesus.
a wide variety of pills.
Uh,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. We'll talk later, okay? I'm sorry. Let me finish with my interview. Shh. We'll talk later. Yeah, thank you. Um,
I tried psychedelics. I smoked bath salts one time.
damn.
And it used to be a coping mechanism for me, but it's not anymore. I used to age regress, and when I smoked my bath salts, I ended up age regressing and bashing my head into a wall until I knocked myself out because my stuffed animals came alive and tried to eat me.
That's fair. That's fair. That'll definitely make you think.
Well, that's when we realized psychedelics weren't the route we were going to take.
No, and what's also crazy is, I think a lot of the people that talk about these supernatural things that don't seem normal in the Christian faith are usually people who are on drugs, imagining things. That's my best guess. Like people who talk about aliens and oh, I went into this special cave and I saw these monstrous things. Right? You'll hear this sometimes on illusional people. They do like these psychedelics and they think about things and they say, yeah, man, I saw all these things. I think they're usually on drugs. And a lot of people are hooked onto these stories because they're absolutely unnatural, don't make sense, but they're hooked on it because, like, wow, it's an amazing story. So I wouldn't imagine your case was different.
Never again, though.
No,
That
keep it that
shit
way.
was scary.
I mean, as far as I know, those drugs will end up killing you either way one day. So
Well, I was trying to off myself anyway, so like Death had his chance. He doesn't get to take me till I'm old now. Or he better have a real good attempt at it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out in some cool way now. If I could sit there and be on all those drugs and still be drinking, like, I used to take Xanax, Adderall, codeine, and then I drink a fifth all within the span of maybe 2 hours.
I see. Yeah,
And
man.
so, like, he better have some cool way for me to go out because I did not go through all those bodily problems
Yeah.
from interacting all of those in my body at the same time for me not to go out in a cool way.
I guess it's better that way. Let's keep it as it is, you know? It's better to stay off the non-normal ways to be a human than to do crazy things just to get some form of comfort, I would say.
And at some point,
Yeah.
looking for that solace in anything other than just finding stability,
Mhm.
you end up messing up a lot more
I got
than
you.
just by doing them.
I understand. I am completely sorry. I wanted to switch topics into something else. This is very, very interesting, but I've noticed in a lot of Christian circles because I follow some of these, right? And she's an older lady. It's called the Transformed Wife on Facebook, and she always talks about this idea of submission, right, towards the husband and et cetera, et cetera. She's an old school kind of person. She has a crap ton of grandchildren. She always posts pictures about how she's doing, how the kids are doing. Very, very solid lady. Husband and wife still together, obviously. But one thing that I see sometimes in the comments is like, I can't be submissive to my husband because my ex used to have a porn addiction, right? And I thought about it for a while. And I was like, there has to be an explanation as to why men so easily get addicted to pornography, or even if they are addicted, is even questionable, right? And I thought about it this way. Men seek sexual satisfaction primarily when they don't have anything. And a lot of these men are starving for sexual intimacy, believe it or not, like absolutely starving. And a lot of them usually have only 2 or 3 choices. One of them is adult entertainment, which they think is the least harmful because they're not interacting with a human being. The other one is a hooker, right? Which is actually way more complicated than people make it out to be. And then number 3,
Illegal.
yeah, I mean, only the advent of OnlyFans is the exact same thing, just purely virtual. But
Fair enough.
then I'll be honest with you, they may call it illegal, but you would be surprised, I think, if they did studies on this, on how many women actually do physical prostitution. Like, I think it's absolutely shocking.
It probably would be to me because
Nevada's only legal, but
I could never.
it's too demeaning. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, if you're just gonna sell like your body, I mean, as a man, it's probably like, sure, it's money, but for women, I think they may hide it as an, oh, it's just a work, but in reality, they're probably dying inside. I mean, no sex worker really lasts forever, not to regret it. I've never seen one, but hey, people can prove me wrong. But anyway, the third one is splitting up, which is so much harder because if they could not split up the family, most of these people have children, they would stay, right? So their alternatives is cheating, essentially, splitting up, prostitution, or adult entertainment. So I think when they start thinking about this, oh, they're constantly watching porn, so we don't have any intimacy. But the problem is these men are sexually loaded, and the only relief that they have, which is very quick, is adult entertainment. Unfortunately, I do think this builds up the habit, right? That they don't want to have sex with their wife because they either get immediately rejected, immediately, like, oh, well, how do you feel? Nah, I'm not in the mood. That gives them a reason to go to adult entertainment instantly, right? So especially women, when they criticize that men are constantly addicted to pornography, I'll tell them, I can bet on you 90% of these so-called addictions to pornography for men are simply men who don't have sex with their wives on a daily basis whenever they want to. And that's the key. Men want sex when they want to. It could be now and it could be in 5 minutes, but they want it, right? I don't think there's genuinely any men who will tell you, I don't want anything to do. It doesn't exist. God made us that way for a reason.
I found you one.
What you mean?
my ex.
Oh no, I understand, but you have to also understand his case was completely demented, in my opinion, because he was getting that kind of attention from other women. That's what I'm trying to talk to you about. That is not normal, right? If he is focusing on other people, his energy will go there. That's very natural. I mean, it's the same thing with adult entertainment. If you use adult entertainment, you don't really want to have sex anymore. I mean, it's just what it is, right? And if you do want to have sex, it's usually with a prostitute who will do exactly all the degenerate things that you see on. I mean, who are we kidding? You know, people can devolve into degeneracy very quickly, right? Your ex could have been perfect, right? Right. If he didn't suggest you 2 weeks in that, or
Yeah.
he didn't do other crazy things, he would have probably been the most perfectly normal guy. But he probably had some things in his mind. He's probably dealing with other things that we don't even know about. Not to
What
take blame
bothers
away from
me-
him, but
What bothered me was the fact that like he'd talk about going to these other people.
mhm.
Meanwhile, my drive was to the point where it was like every day. I used to be able with my ex before him. It was every day or multiple times a day.
Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
With my ex before the unnormal one.
Okay, okay. Before your ex.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one, he didn't really mess up much. His was more an emotional, we just stopped caring.
Okay.
Both of us simultaneously. That's a long story though. But we'd go like every day, if not multiple times a day. And we never had any problems. Meanwhile, my last ex was going to other people.
Yeah.
But he never.
Never gave that attention to you.
No. That
Oh.
wasn't really the issue. He never had that drive that you say men have.
Do you think he was attracted to you? Because sometimes that definitely plays a factor into it.
Well, he didn't do it with anybody.
Maybe he is purely gay. Who knows?
It would look that way now, wouldn't it?
Sorry. You know what's funny? I just used the same tactic that women do to shame men when they don't have sex with them. Oh, maybe he's gay. Shit. I fell into that.
Well, look at his situation. Look at who we went to.
Hey, if there's a single evidence, that's what it sounds like. I'm just saying. I mean, I think that's the reason. Like, I've seen some crazy videos out there about lady boys in Thailand and how some men are like, "Oh yeah, these lady boys are just like women, right?" And I'm like, what the hell? Oh shit, yeah. Crazy. But hey, man, don't get me wrong. I think there's men who would absolutely love degeneracy out there, despicable kind of behavior. I couldn't see myself in that position at all. But
Hey, sometimes the degeneracy is fun as long as it's with your partner.
that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, obviously, according to the Bible, there's certain limitations of what you're not supposed to do, which you should probably investigate on your own. But again, what I'm trying to tell you is that the men are not even getting a chance to have sex with their own
Which
wives.
baffles me.
The
How
problem,
can you be with someone and not want to be with them like that?
the craziest part about this is that men still have the duty to take care of their families. So they're not splitting with their families because they understand deep down that if they split with their families, it's just going to create more chaos for the kids. But on the flip side, we already know that the kids are going to be messed up because the father's absolutely deprived of all kinds of natural things in marriage, right? So it creates a massive bad revolving door of men have no clue what to do anymore. I mean, increasingly more men are basically saying, if you don't fulfill your duties as a wife in a marriage, I want nothing to do with you. I don't care if we got kids or anything, which I think is a fair approach, right? I really do. But on the flip side, if you got kids, it's extremely important to think about what is the benefit for the kid, regardless of how miserable you are, right? But of course, the woman will say, "Ah, but if she's not happy, right? How is she gonna take care of the kids?" I was like, you should ask men how they do it. But
Well, it's like it's your job. You lay down to have the kids. It is your job to make sure, regardless of which parent you are.
you know, it's funny. I don't even consider job because that sounds like, oh, you're getting paid, and if you don't pay me, right, I'm gonna not fulfill my job duties. But when you say duty, it's more of a responsibility that regardless of what happens, it has to be done, right? That's why even if you say it's job and it's well intentioned, I think it's a false comparison because people say, oh, it's a job, it's my job.
As a
Uh,
stay-at-home mom, it was my job. I was getting paid to sit home.
Sure,
He was taking
sure.
care of me, so like he paid my bills, so technically it was my job. But
Yeah.
it's not really a bad thing.
Do you hear the background
In a
noise?
way, yeah.
God, poor my kids. I wish I could shut up the background noise. It's kind of strong here. Um,
But I see having kids as a job because you do get paid in an emotional aspect. It's like volunteer work, I guess.
yeah.
Because even though I struggle with the kids occasionally, and yeah, they wear me out,
Mm.
I sleep maybe 5 hours a night, if that. Like on a good night, I get 5 hours.
Yeah. Give me a
But
second.
think of all the things I get to. Okay, be quiet. I'm on the phone. What?
I was saying ish.
With what car? What car?
You can ask her.
I gotta mute myself for a minute. Give me a second.
You're fine. Hey, for those of you watching, my daughter is really sweet. She said, "Dada, you can finish your interview."
My sister just told me we had to go to the splash pad, but I
that's
have
pretty
no
cool.
vehicle.
Okay, so what is the case with your vehicle situation? Because can you actually get a vehicle, or you just can't afford it right now?
That's not even a matter of consideration at this point because I back up a car like I have a trailer on it, and I've never driven with a trailer before. And some reason I cannot figure out how to back up a car without doing it backwards.
Can I do the meme of the coffee sipping and the phrase "women"? Is that possible?
Listen, I tried. I can back up, but I have to have a full-blown anxiety attack and cry about it first, which is a very woman thing to do.
Sure,
But I can't do that on a driving test with a driving instructor.
that's fair. Do you have someone to teach you?
It was supposed to be my ex.
Of course. Nah, he wanted to be gay.
He wanted to. He told me he was going to teach me how to drive, and then it was, no, I don't want you behind the wheel of my car.
Okay,
You
as
had
a
me
guy,
fixing-
all right, as a guy, right, where I don't let my
He
wife
had
drive.
me fixing the car.
Sure.
If
No, I got
I'm
you.
doing the maintenance on the car, I should be allowed to drive the car.
I mean, sure, I can't complain about that. To each its own.
He didn't even pump the gas to the car. Unless he was running out of gas at work, it was,
Yeah.
hey babe, will you take the car and go put gas in?
What the hell was he doing? I mean,
I was
I
fine
don't
with it 'cause I
actually
like driving.
understand. Dude, was he an emotional person in the sense of was he fruity?
Not really. Like,
Not really, or did you notice it sometimes? Because that's important.
the only emotion he really had was anger. Like, it was anger, or he was just kind of very nonchalant about everything. Like, nothing mattered.
Was he acting gay as a joke or serious?
He never really, like every once in a while, he'd sit there with his friend Richard, but they had been friends for a long time. They'd make jokes once in a while.
Sure,
But they never
guys, we
acted.
joke around being gay all the time. Trust me, we ain't gay.
That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, in the military, all the dudes are motherfucking gay in the barracks because we all share together. Right?
I've heard the fair share stories.
Yeah, if gay in the military was real, that's the best case scenario. I mean, we'd be like, you motherfucker, you got you got little things showing, and it'd be like, hey, you better don't look down there. I mean, it's just the wildest things. But so the military has the best racist people together. I mean, the famous quadruple people is the Asian, the white, the black, and the Hispanic. The most racist group you'll ever meet. But you know what's funny? They're the best friends. But it's just what it was. By the way, continue with your non-gay gay story.
I don't even know where I was at because my brain's just going to all the stories Jeffrey told me from the military.
Hmm. Um, God, there's kind of a lot of things we still need to talk about, but going back to the job a little bit. So you're gonna get the job soon, hopefully at the warehouse. Are you gonna be able to transport yourself there?
Yes, because it's like 2 blocks from where I live.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I can walk my head.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Is the
I can
pay
walk
is the
there.
pay pretty decent?
$19 an hour.
If you look, and I'm guessing your house bills are almost basically taken care of.
I want to get a new place once I start working because then I can get on income-based housing, and then depending on how much that takes out of me, I can save up for a new place because I want to actually buy a house again. I was land contracted into a house with my ex, but he never kept a job, so we couldn't keep it.
Yeah.
And
This is
that was
gonna
right
sound
after
crazy,
this.
but can you stay with your grandma for as long as possible, or do you think she's gonna get tired of you?
I don't think she's going to get tired of me. It's the fact that I have 2 kids in a 1-bedroom apartment that is less than 500 square feet.
Yeah.
And I currently sleep in the hallway on the floor.
Mhm.
So we're going to run out of room at some point, especially as the kids get bigger.
Is
I
your
do-
area hurricane prone?
Absolutely not.
Perfect. This is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but find you a small plot of land that doesn't have any serious restrictions on building and get you an Amazon box. I am not kidding you. That those things are 10 to 15K, 3, 4 bedrooms sometimes. They're not that expensive, and you can get that as a loan. So if the property, let's say it's half an acre, maybe 20K, I don't know, hypothetical, right? You could try it
If
that
I
way.
could get water and electric put out, I currently have a fifth wheel camper. I just don't have anywhere to hook it up.
Oh, so
And
you
that's
actually
where I
have a
live.
place, an actual place, if you had to move.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
don't. According to CPS, you need to have running water within 100 feet of your domicile.
Sure.
And then because we didn't have running water when me and Casey lived in it, I'd say 8 months ago.
Okay.
But we were living next to a house that had running water. So as long as we had access to running water and we were hooked up to electricity, you can live in it.
Yeah.
So that was actually a good idea that I had, but the problem is then I have to have my license and a vehicle before that point.
That's a tricky one. Yeah. I can see where the steps kind of come into place. So you need the job to get money, and then you need to take your
Someone to
license
teach me
test.
to drive.
Yeah.
I can drive, I just can't back up or parallel park.
Ooh.
I just haven't tried parallel parking yet, so I might be able to do that one.
Yeah.
But my grandma, and I understand her stance on this.
Hmm.
She worked 40 plus years of her life, and because of her divorce and everything else, and taking care of her kids and taking care of me, because she had me and my little brother a lot when we were younger. And I've lived with her many times before. When I first came off of drugs, I went to her.
Hmm.
So she completely has supported so many people.
Sure.
The only thing she has in her name, because technically where she's living is an apartment.
Okay.
Oh, a duplex, but same difference.
Hmm.
The only thing she has in her name is her car. And she doesn't want me driving it in case I fuck it up or
Sure.
run into something. So I understand her stance there.
Backing up. Wow.
It might help if I knew my left from right, but like
Are you
some reason I
dyslexic?
just They thought so in school, but I never went for the testing. So technically, no.
I got you.
If it's not diagnosed, I don't have it.
I see what you're saying. Okay, man. Do you think you're gonna be able to get this done within the next 3 months? All of this.
the license and the car probably not, because I'm going to start paying off the debts that I have from my ex, because he used to borrow money from a lot of people, and now it's still held over my head because I was with him.
Oh, God.
And
How much debt
I'm
do you
not
got?
15 grand worth,
Hmm.
which really throws a socket in a lot. Because with 2 kids and trying to get on your feet, 15 grand is a lot.
No, I understand. Trust me. I'm okay stable financially, but I cannot manage to save 15 grand in less than 2 years. Like, it's impossible.
I plan on just spending most of my child support on that.
That's also
I'm just gonna,
that's completely. I actually fully support that.
well,
We
it's
talked
paying
about
off his dad.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if it's
send
his,
his
it's
money to
his,
his
right?
dad.
There's no reason that you should be held over something that is absolutely his. That's very big no-no. Doesn't matter what people say about it. If he inquired a debt, right, and you're actually getting this money from him that I told you eventually you should probably give him back in the form of, hey, I don't want anything to do with you. Pay those debts back and then start that process, because this debt should be nothing with you. Very big difference.
Well, the thing is between the car that we had and the house, the two different places we lived, he kept asking his dad to help us with bills, and I never knew any of it until we separated this last time.
Okay.
And I went over to his dad's house one time because they wanted to see the kids, but they have the mentality that I have to be there with the kids because they don't want to watch them all the time.
Yeah.
I won't complain, they're my kids.
Yeah.
But his dad sat there and he goes, "So when are you going to start paying us back for the houses and the car?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "What do you mean?"
That's where the
So
15
then
grand comes from, I'm guessing, right?
Technically, that's where the 30 grand comes from, but I will not sit there and pay all of it. I will pay my half, even though I was unaware of all of it.
Do you have
But we
proof?
were together.
Do you have proof that this has nothing to do with you?
I never knew of him asking.
Is there any
But we were
legally
together.
binding contract that your name is a signature? Is the debt in your name? Anything?
No, it was never. His dad would just give money up. Like when we almost lost the house at Riverdale.
Okay.
I didn't know we were losing the house because he had me being a stay-at-home mom.
Mhm.
I would go and work weekends because I had this lady that I would work under the table for. Because, I had my fair share of pets. We had like 13 pets at one point in time.
Lord have mercy.
I liked rats, so I had 5 rats, a rabbit, cats, dogs, geckos.
God.
But those were not his responsibility. So
Sure.
I would work at the weekends. We would send Casey to my grandma. And then I would work on the weekends so I could get all the stuff for the animals because he didn't want them, so I'm not going to make him support them. I didn't know that we were struggling with the house because I left that all to him. He said he had it. I trusted him on that. Come to find out years later that he asked his dad to pay one round of bills. Meanwhile, I had almost 3 grand in savings.
Hmm.
So at that point, why are you asking your dad for money? Talk to me about it. We could have given up the house and gotten something different. We could have, caught the house up.
Yeah.
But instead, he refused to talk to me, asked his dad, and then slowly but surely, after everything with the car and the house, we ended up 30 grand in debt.
Hmm.
And no, there's no proof other than John's word.
Okay. This is very important. You have no debt. Zero.
Morally, I do, though.
No.
Because I'm
No.
still with him.
Look, listen very carefully. Was this a responsible act that you voluntarily said, hey, I'm going to be paying part of this debt?
I have not said anything to them yet. I
I'm
just
gonna
don't
be
want to
I'm
over
gonna
my
be
head.
completely honest with you. You should get an absolute restraining order against anybody who's trying to force you to pay a debt that's not in your name. I'm not even joking about that. Because if you weren't in the contract originally, hypothetically speaking, there was a contract and your name is not involved in that, but they're asking you to pay for a debt that you never agreed to. And especially if there's no legally binding contract, you don't have any debt. I don't care if it's a moral thing. Also, morality for a lot of these people are subjective.
Well, yes, it's subjective, but like he kept a roof over my kid's head because his son couldn't.
So the,
And
the
I have
question
to
that I
agree with
ask you is, were you aware of any of these debts from the get-go that you, hypothetically speaking, and your ex were supposed to pay together?
Not until like 4 months ago.
So this is what I'm trying to tell you. They're dumping the debts on you, even though you had no part of the debt. Like, for example, if I had debt that I know would affect my family, I would tell, hey, I have this debt that we're going to have to pay eventually, right? Very different. But at the same time, I would make sure that we follow a specific financial plan, that this is how we're going to pay for the debt. But now that you're saying that it's word of mouth, I actually recommend you to talk to someone, I don't know who, about this, right? But I think the police is probably your closest place. Like, you can say, hey, I'm not blaming people, but it looks like my ex is trying to make me pay a debt that is not even in my name. And you can be as blunt as you can with them, right? I was like, I'm just trying to figure things out here. I don't have a job. I don't understand how to pay for this. My job is not going to pay enough to pay for this debt. Can you please help me out what to do? And they'll probably give you some good advice.
But at the same time, that'd be a good way to get his money back to him.
No, I understand, but right now, the child support, you can do that if you want, right? But regardless of the situation, you're now paying a debt that is not even in your name. This is criminal.
Yeah, vaguely.
I mean, if you want to do things the right way, you can have your personal feelings about things, but this is completely immoral, especially if you were not part of the contract originally at all. So this is what I understand. You may feel a certain way. Now, I don't know the situation firsthand because I'm not in your position. But if what you're telling me is true, they did a bunch of things on the side that you have no idea what, and then now that you're split, many months later, they're telling you, oh yeah, you have a debt that you have to pay for. And you're like, I was not informed about this. I didn't sign a contract. I don't know what is going on. You have no responsibility over that. It's not your responsibility. That's why I'm telling you to keep this completely professional. There should be no involvement of emotions, no relationship talk, nothing.
If I ever get back with him,
No.
it's gonna be.
Oh, you're saying if you ever talk to him.
Like if I ever get back with him, it better be when we're both dead and gone. Like,
Yeah.
spiritually get back together, because I cannot handle that crap again.
Yeah. Who is the closest person to the legal side of things that you can talk to?
No idea. The
Go to
only
yeah.
legal person I have is our friend, the court lady, and she wouldn't touch anything like this.
Go to the police. They probably could classify it under complete financial abuse.
Are my kids screaming? Because we're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting here real quick. I don't think those are mine.
Now, if, for example, if you guys were still together and he broke down and he's like, look, I'm struggling with this financially. I was trying to make a good decision. Unfortunately, it turned out wrong. And now we have all this debt. I think even you would understand, you know what? You tried your best. Shit went wrong. Let's try to pay this together. But this is a different story. They gave you debt after you guys split and tried to say, hey, you got to pay for this. Very different story. You got to look at this from the perspective of this makes sense or this makes no sense. I mean, if I was
But
you, I'd be
nothing they've
absolutely
done ever
angry.
makes sense.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I'll be honest with you. This is one issue that you could solve immediately. I have no idea how long the process physically would take, but this is none of your business.
Logically, yeah, you're right.
In fact,
Part of me is also worried about the repercussions not doing what they want
what
would have on
repercussions exactly?
kids.
What are you afraid of?
The kids.
What do you
Because
think they're
their
gonna do?
dad,
Okay.
well, I don't think they'll do anything other than completely ignore them. Because
Then so
every
be it.
time they fight, but they're,
No, I understand because we talked about this many times. I understand the
well,
perspective of you don't want them to cut off relation. I get it. But
but
sometimes,
logically, you
yeah,
don't need the kids to see that.
sure. But this is the thing. You guys are split, and for good reason, it seems. They're creating an issue where you should have not been involved in the first place. If that means that they're going to threaten you to cut all kinds of pseudo relationship that you guys have with the kids, you got to do it that way. Because if he is not recognizing that he made a massive mistake, especially now we're talking about this debt, there's nothing that can be explained with a solid relationship with the kids if all they're doing is causing more issues and not taking responsibility. Now, this one actually does not make sense to me.
Apparently, none of the whole situation has made sense to either of us.
So I'm going to ask you this again. Did they inquire debt that you first had no clue about? Second, they never told you about anything during the relationship.
Nope.
Was there any contract that you signed unintentionally?
No.
Perfect. That's all your case.
The
That's all
only
you gotta
thing
do.
was the land contract, but technically it shows that he paid it, not his dad.
I'm so sorry. 1 second. Say that one more time.
Technically, I signed the land contract. That was in both our names, but his dad gave him the money, so it looked like it was coming from him. So it's all word of mouth.
So the land contract was what exactly was that for?
The house that we were at, the very first one.
And do you mind explaining to me one more time how the debt got inquired?
Pretty much he was working and, well, supposedly he was working. But somehow we just didn't have the money, and instead of telling me we didn't have the money, he went and complained to his dad, and then his dad paid it, and we spent another 6 months there when I had the money to, either move us or catch us up or do something. And then it all just poofed.
So I guess my question is, where did the 30,000 debt come from?
At least 20 of it was on his car.
Is the car in your name?
No. The
Never
car
was.
is actually repoed now.
Oh Lord.
Because he got it from a, like...
Do you know if he put your name on it?
I can verify my name wasn't on it because when he told me he was going to kidnap our kid, I gotta be in charge from it.
I see.
He told me he was going to kidnap our kid the first time I left. And it's like, psycho mother, you're not taking my kid. And he would drive by the place we were staying at every day.
Yeah.
So I put a tracker in his car. Because if he came within 20 miles of the house, or no, I think it was 15. If he came within 15 miles of the house, I whipped Casey inside.
Yeah.
Because he would stand, there were, how many times? There were 3 different instances where he came up at like, one of them was 2 in the morning, the other one was like 5 something in the morning, and then one was in the middle of the day. And he like banged on our bedroom window. And told me he needed his kid.
Okay. Odd behavior.
Well, that's why I put a tracker in the car, because it's like, what if I'm outside with Casey and then all of a sudden he just comes up and grabs him?
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Does he know anything about the tracker by any chance?
Yeah, I gotta be in charge for it.
No, my bad. Did he know about the tracker situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he found it.
I got you. Okay, the story's just getting more complex as I listen to it.
And that's actually why we went back, because I was sick of him telling me that he was going to take the kid.
Yeah.
that's traumatizing to me. I got sick of watching over my shoulder every day.
Sure.
And if we were together, at least I knew where he was at. At least I knew what was going on.
Does he have an actual restraining order against the place in general?
I don't think he has a restraining order against anything.
Hmm. Okay. Two things. Definitely go to the police, report the whole situation with the debt because you have nothing to do with his car, number one. And number two, I have no idea what the other 10 grand is about, but I'm pretty sure it's some other things that are not in your
That's
name.
the two houses.
So were you apart? You're talking about the land, right?
The land contract, and then we had an apartment. But it wasn't an apartment, it was a house that we rented.
Well, you know what? Even if they charge you, even if they told you to pay half of that because you were half of the relationship, that's less than what you're going to pay.
So,
So
that would only be
I'll be
$5,000.
very, very honest with you. Bring any kind of proof to show that this is what's going on. I had no clue about this. Absolutely report to police. This is unacceptable for them. This is completely immoral and criminal from their end. They can't do things like that.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
at the same time, this is the crap I've dealt with for the past 4 years. I'm
I
kind
understand. I
of kind of
understand.
numb
But
mentally to it.
at this point, this is, I think, what you should do almost immediately. Like, if you have to go right now to the police station, just fucking do it.
Well, I got to go to court tomorrow anyway, so.
There's probably police officers you can talk to at the courthouse, so you can get it started there. In
Well,
secret.
in the county I'm in,
Mm.
their police building is
Mhm.
the same building as the courthouse, so.
Yeah, definitely talk to someone there, in the courthouse or the police, as you were saying, whatever the case may be. Sorry. Man, yeah, definitely get that, definitely get that squared away. This should not be acceptable.
I told you this was an adventure.
Yeah. Also, have you been paying them already?
I have not paid anybody anything because I have no money.
There's your proof. First of all, how are you going to pay a debt that first is not in your name, have no clue about, got told on it way after you split up, and then second, you can't pay because you got no money. And even if you did get a job, which is what you're going to do, how are you going to be able to afford your own life and pay a debt that's not yours? I mean, the case is not even an issue in regards to how it's going to work. You should not even have to worry about it. But if they have to make you pay, the most you should be able to pay is $5,000 based on what hypothetically is in your name, which is the land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
John's reasoning was because I drove the vehicle also. I was responsible for it. That's the same look I gave him.
And yeah, like I put my wife as an authorized user on my vehicle. That doesn't mean that she owns the vehicle. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, this is absolutely wild. This sounds like two men who don't like to take responsibility, in my personal opinion.
Well, and that's why he ended up the way he did. If you look at both of his parents,
Yeah.
That's why I don't blame him for how he acted, because both of his parents are where his stuff came from.
Yeah, I know. Genetic trauma, essentially.
As for the infidelity, like the cheating aspect, his mom did it all the time. He saw that growing up.
What the
So
hell?
so I see why. And then he's just from a dysfunctional family in general. His parents are divorced, live together. They still fight and argue.
The parents are divorced but live together.
Oh, yeah.
And then the
They've
wife
been
is
divorced,
basically cheating all the time.
Well, not anymore. Now she's hung up on his dad again.
Oh, of course. Safe choice.
Now that they're divorced.
Of course. Miracle, quote unquote, I guess.
So I see why he is the way he is. I don't blame him for any of that.
I have to ask you a maybe offensive question. Do you live in the boonies?
I used to.
Okay. It's
Now
not
it's
that
warm
rednecky kind
town.
of place, right? It's just kind of average, you would say?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
I see what you're saying. Sorry. That was just a side question. But
Why
resolve
though?
that issue with the income. Uh
Why'd you
also
ask about the boonies?
oh, I'm just curious because trust me, if you were living in my area and you had no job, I would be homeless very quick. That's what I'm
The
saying.
only reason I'm not is because I have family that will help right now.
Yeah. I
I
understand.
have ended up in a situation before I had the kids, just before I got with that ex, the one I had the kids with. Um, I ended up living in the woods for almost a year, and it was me and my cat, and we made it.
Yeah. With the trailer, you mean?
No,
Oh,
no, I built a hut in the middle of the woods.
you got some natural experience. That's awesome, honestly.
I grew up in the woods.
Mm.
It We made it off the land for how many years? Hundreds of years.
Millennia. Everybody comes from the woods.
That's my point. So if
Yeah.
you can do it, you can do it. It's
Agreed.
not hard to build a shelter and make it work.
Agreed. Um, we may have to cut this a little bit shorter than I expected, even though it's over 2 hours 20 minutes.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but the couple of things that I did want to make sure that you understood is make sure that the proceedings at the court are completely legal. Get everything on the contract, basically saying that you guys are not romantically involved ever again, ever. I mean, like if you have to
Good.
put that in forgery, I don't give a shit. Make sure it's stable because even if you guys are stable, the worst thing that you guys can do is get together based on how unstable both of you guys are with each other. That's a whole ball game. Now, number two, you got to make sure you talk to someone immediately after that courthouse about the whole financial situation. You can knock this out. You'll be surprised how fast it goes. And you don't even have to be extremely convincing in the sense of like sobbing, like, I don't know what to do. I mean, you can, but the police may distrust you because you're crying. But you can tell them your case like, I'm in a precarious situation. I owe money that I don't even know why I owe money. It's not even under my name, right? You can present all your case with that. And then number
Well, they
three,
can't even give me an itemized list.
you can request that. That's funny. You can actually request a court hearing for that.
Oh, really?
Oh, 100%.
Damn.
You just gave me a fantastic idea. Present it to the court. In the court. I'm dead serious. Tell them, I just found out yesterday when I was thinking about this that I owe money that's not even in my name. And when I'm requesting itemized information about why I owe or how I owe, I am not presented with the evidence. Another court case immediately. It's actually insane how things like that go. But bring your case. Explain what's going on, why things are going down this path, and if things are going normally, there's no reason things should go against you, especially on this financial case. Yeah, and if that means that you have to give up on the child support, so be it.
I didn't want the child support
Yeah.
anyways. I've been raw dogging this myself the whole time anyways.
And if they clear up the debt where you have to pay zero, you follow through with you accumulate all that money and send it right back, telling him in the text message with the Venmo, I want nothing to do with your money. That simple.
I called friend of the court and I can actually go to jail for that.
Really?
Unless I have a specific reason why I am sending the money back,
Okay.
like the debt, they will tag me for child neglect because
Okay.
I am not actually letting him support his children.
I mean, if the court mandates that you physically show proof that you're supporting, even though some mothers don't do that, just so you're aware, then you show things that you're buying for the kids, what you're doing with the money for the kids, uh, schools that you're paying for, lessons that you're paying for, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. But if they're actually giving you the allowance to, if you have debt that you have to pay back, use the child support money to pay for that debt. I think that's pretty fair.
See, my logic is
if you're gonna make me pay for a debt that I don't really think I owe,
Yeah.
and I don't want the child support, because every time child support gets brought up, I'm called manipulative. I'm
Sure.
called everything but a white chick. So, because YouTube censors things, that's where I'll say it.
Oh, you mean the
I might have.
CUNT?
Oh, that one comes up a lot,
No, I got you. The BICTCH.
and there's many more. There
I
are
got you.
some that I have never even heard of, and
I got
then it's like, I'll just send him his money back for that debt.
Yeah.
And logically, they can't bash me for that
That's fair. That's
because
completely
I
fair.
can't pay off. I can't start my stuff if I don't pay off debt,
100%.
and I don't want his child support. So if I send it back to his dad,
Hmm.
he lives off of his dad right now, aside from his 3-4 days at work tops.
Yeah. Make sure you go to the court, and they have to hash this out. Like, if they have to do a new court case for the financial, then so be it. But present your case. Like, tell them
I might as well
exactly.
live at the courthouse.
Yeah, why not? Until your case is solved.
At this point, how much I'm gonna be there?
I mean, you don't have a job right now, so technically you can afford to stay at the courthouse.
It'd probably be cheaper.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I was gonna tell you number 3. Don't ever get into the dating market yet. I'm talking. It's not.
I got at least 3 to 4 years, because it's not till the kids are in school. I don't want people around my kids that I'm dating until I know they're gonna be.
100%. Also, you have to be aware, the men who would be willing to do such a thing, especially in today, extremely rare. Especially those who care about your kids, very, very rare. I mean, you got the high skyrocket chance that the stepfather will be abusive towards the kids. I mean, it's stupidly high. People don't like to acknowledge that, but stepfathers are the worst endangerments. Stepfathers and stepmothers, right? Worst
Which is
endangerment.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
My stepdad came in,
Mm.
and I call him dad, and I call my real dad by his name, because my stepdad treated me and my brother so much better than either of our parents ever did.
Yeah.
But the chances of finding that are so low.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, now the new trend I see is that stepchildren are disrespecting the stepfather.
Yeah.
So that's another problem, right? But on the flip side, I mean, the studies on domestic violence of stepchildren ridiculously high. So that's a big problem that you have to be aware of. I mean, there might be a chance that you're gonna have to raise your children. You're not gonna have any romantic interest in nobody, until maybe the children are growing older. You find an older gentleman, whatever the case may be, right? But it might be a burden, right? That you will never be able to be with another guy if for
I don't
life.
think that'd be a
Yeah.
burden.
Okay.
I'm actually getting to the point where I like being alone because I can function better. I do miss
I
the
see that.
stability.
I understand. Yeah.
I miss the stability of a male, though.
Yeah.
It was very, aside from my ex,
Sure.
the kid's dad. Aside from
why
him,
did you actually break up with your stable guy?
we ended up moving really far apart, like 150 miles,
Hmm.
and we were both on stuff,
Okay.
and it became, I want to stop, I want to get my life together,
Sure.
and he couldn't communicate that because of everything we were on. As we slowly got into more stuff, we both declined mentally.
That's a tragedy, man. Sorry.
We're friends. We can talk now. Him and I have been
mean,
talking for like a year now, working on just talking about how we recovered from everything and how we made progress.
Just
He's
FYI.
engaged. He did really good. He got his crap together real good. I'm proud of him.
Just FYI, men and women always develop sexual tension, one way or the other. So
He wasn't good at that, so we can't do that again.
You would be surprised how men change over time. I'm dead serious. Like, shy people become like the most player-like vibes, or vice versa, right? So I would still caution you when you speak to him because he's engaged, right? And don't get me wrong, you are not a man, right? So men, when they feel that they have some sort of communication connection with you, they may want to get into your pants, right? Even if it may be harmless or long term, whatever the case is. So you kind of have to also be aware of that, right? I mean, men and women lust over each other all the time. So a simple communication here, a
It
simple
would be so weird if he ever wanted to get back together. That would be so messed up.
don't be surprised.
I
Don't be
would be.
surprised. Yeah.
If
But the
that ever
question is,
happens, I'm coming and ranting to you because I'm not going to know what to do.
yeah. Well, I mean, the question is,
Obviously,
if you said, "Hey, I broke up with my girlfriend. I feel like I wasn't connecting with her," would you engage in that conversation with him?
it would take a while because the idea of jumping out of a relationship to go and immediately pursue another one
Yeah,
is a red flag to me.
it's 100% a red flag. Yeah,
And given our history and how you said keep it professional when it comes to the kids' dad,
for sure.
I have kept it professional with this ex
Mm,
the whole time. We don't talk like we both apologized for the things we did because we both messed up in that relationship and there was some closure that was needed.
yeah,
We addressed that, and other than that, it's pretty much a conversation like you and me have very
mm.
frequently. Just, oh, life's doing this, any suggestions, you know? So it would really throw me.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. Men are extremely good with words. We're very sneaky. So men understand how to play with words. Like we can talk about a normal thing, and then we hunch at an idea, and that plants the seed in your head. And then the next thing you guys are talking about, when are you guys going to meet up to have a CX, right? So that's why I say you should always be cautious, especially now that your life is not stable at all. There should be, it's kind of harsh for me to say it, but I think you should stay away from anybody who is especially of the opposite gender, who's maintaining these conversations, whatever it is, because your focus really has to be, I got issues that I got to fix. And I understand we are talking. I get it. Right. But this is purely because I'm trying to start a business here in that sense, business. Business. um, but a little bit of a man game here is men are sneaky with their words. I mean, this is the reason why Lucifer seduced Eve in the Garden of Eden. I mean, it's clear as day, right? Um, but from the perspective of keeping things professional, there's nothing wrong with that. But just understand that if he has any hunch of a feeling with you, or he breaks up with his girlfriend, he more than likely will try to reconnect with you in some shape or fashion. So just be aware of that.
That ain't happening.
I don't
At least
know.
from my end.
People could get convinced. I've seen crazier things. Trust me. People absolutely crazier things. But as long as you're
He,
aware with it, that's totally fine.
I'll admit, he's done good. He got his life together. He got off drugs. I'm proud of him for that. But, like, that closure was enough.
Okay. Normally, I
It,
would say don't talk to those people again just because of the nature of splitting up. But hey, if you guys did it that way, it is what it is.
he was the only person I ever split with on good terms.
How many other previous people were you together with?
Aside from the kids' dad,
Mm-hmm.
that ex, I have 2 ex-girlfriends and then 1 ex-male before that.
Oh shit! You didn't even tell me that. That shit's wild.
Why?
I didn't think about it. But I forgot how new age relationships work these days. Did you guys have any intercourse as women? I'm guessing yes.
Yeah. Well,
You tried, I guess.
I guess I did.
No explanation needed. I got you.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm guessing you were the domineering one in that situation.
Yeah.
How was the you want to hear crazy statistic about lesbian relationships?
Is it going to be crazy or is it going to be
Very.
common sense?
Well, I mean, you could now consider it common sense. But the most unstable relationships are yours. Did you know that? Absolutely unstable. Like 70%, 75% of
Oh,
those
yeah.
people, like that's the divorce section of it. But then they have the highest rates of domestic violence as well. I mean, like they beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why do you think I left? Because
Oh God.
I have the bad habit of picking the crazy ones, okay?
Yeah, I guess the evidence is pretty astounding.
The women are even worse. You thought the kids' dad was crazy. The
Yeah.
women were a whole different topic.
But how was the interaction? I've always been curious about this because I mean, if you got two females just talking about life problems, it can be normal, but it can be pretty crazy at times. But if you're in a relationship, that's a whole nother world.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you're all emotional all the time, both of you. You fight over petty things, right?
We never really the first one and I never really fought.
Okay.
The second one was diagnosed bipolar and refused to take her meds,
Mm-hmm.
and that played a big part in it
I see.
because I was working at the time and it would be just crazy off the wall crap. Like
Okay.
I'd come home from work and she'd be like, "Oh, did you fuck someone in the bathroom?" No.
I mean,
Where are
you
you
could
coming
try,
from?
but where? At a Denny's?
Was like, "Where are you getting this from? I came home from work.
That's just
I
funny.
brought you food and drinks. And this is what you greet me with?"
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't think a relationship with a female lasted more than a couple months either time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not stable. I mean, there's no proof ever that has existed that two females can actually have a stable relationship. Regardless of the anomalies here and there. I mean, the one thing that I always notice if a couple is lesbian is they both look absolutely ugly. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a huge turnoff. As soon as I see it, I immediately think they look ugly. I don't know what it is, but I've never seen a really attractive lesbian couple. It like
It
never.
it also doesn't help that the bipolar one I didn't really have the intention of being in a relationship with.
Okay.
I only wanted to go to bed with her.
Oh.
But she required the relationship aspect. So that should have been my red flag there. Because we got together, like we went to bed together like
Yeah.
3 times before we got together.
Uh,
And then it was constantly, what are we?
yeah. How old are you guys? Were you guys when this happened?
Um oof.
Was
I
this
was
middle school,
18.
high school?
I was just out of high school. I think it was her senior year because she was
I
a
see
year
what you're
younger
saying.
than me.
Okay,
And I had just graduated when we started messing around.
I got you. Do you think you still have those feelings for women?
In the aspect of going to bed, maybe.
Mm.
But that's just because women are pretty in bed.
Yeah, but they always lay like starfish, which is another problem.
That's fine. That's fine.
Not from a
Because
guy's perspective. We need you to be interactive, man. This whole lying down and doing nothing is like the most unattractive thing that I've ever experienced.
I can see from a male point of view why that would be irritating.
God, it's terrible.
As a
Like,
female, though, that's
yeah.
kind of cool because there's not much you can do as a female.
Oh no, there's plenty. Oh, you mean like in that relationship?
In bed.
So as a female or as a female?
As a female with a female, there's not
I
much you can
see.
do.
I see what you're saying.
The starfish laying is one of the maybe 3 things you can do there.
It's just like, come on. I thought this was about equality. Right there, right there, it proves that there's no equality. Right there.
Yeah.
I think they've even done studies about if women had to do the exact same marathons during intercourse as men, they would get exhausted way faster.
Oh, yeah. I have never doubted that for a second because, no
But hey,
offense,
equality.
y'all. Okay,
I thought that was
this is a
funny.
statement I just have to make.
Okay, I'm
Women
listening.
always complain about how nice or how guys have better asses than they do. But think of
We
how much
do.
motion. Think of how much motion you guys have to do with your hips all the time and your core muscles.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
On a fair note, my parents are German, so I got good booty cheeks. Non-disclosure. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think it's a genetic thing because I think a lot of the boys they inherit their some of their physical attributes through their mom. So I think it's like a mix of things. It might. I'm not
Fair,
sure.
but like
I don't know what the actual studies are, but I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with that.
fair, but like at the same time,
Hmm.
y'all are sitting there with some wild positions and still going. Meanwhile, half the women in this world can't even ride for more than like 2 minutes.
I'm tired. Shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up. I mean, the thing is, I do think there's a part of training, right? Um, it's kind of complicated to explain, but the best reference I know is Kegels, right? I have to start doing that because I'm getting older. Um, but I really I have to go starting to the gym. I'm actually overweight, right? I don't look like it because I got a jaw, right? But I got this hair, you know. It's all fake. I got a patchy beard, so I actually got to shave it, and it feels always itchy, which I always thought was kind of odd to me. But anyway, but beside that, I'm unfortunately I'm overweight, so I think weight is a massive factor into sexual decrease, right? Because people they're either exhausted or they're because they're accumulating fat. So for men, their testosterone reduces because of the overabundance of estrogen. Because one of the things that I found out as well about health is the fatter you are, the more estrogen you are, the more estrogen you have, right? So
That's kind of cool though.
yeah, not feeling
Like
it.
it's not a good kind of cool,
Mm.
but it's a cool fact.
I mean, it's good to know, but on the flip side, men are year by year reducing in their natural testosterone by like 1% since like 1980s. So World War II guys, which had like a 18-year-olds had a 800 milligrams of testosterone. I don't know what the actual parameters are. Now it's like 200, right? Same age group. Give me a
That's
second.
crazy.
Yeah, it's actually insane. Uh, But yeah, man, like there's a lot of things to improve. I mean, we talked about a bunch of things, but a lot of the problems from the man side, I can flat out tell it. It has not even anything to do with communication, which a lot of women talk about. Oh, he doesn't communicate properly. It has to do with quite a few simple things. One of them is men in their own marriages don't get enough sex. No one can even tell me that's not true. I mean, the evidence is even as far as saying like one in 1 to 2, so 25 to 50% of men in marriages don't have even sex for like the past year in their
I
own
would lose
marriages,
my shit. I
right?
would lose my
But
mm-mm.
what's wild is men still have to do their duties in a marriage that the other person, their wife, don't feel they have a duty to do. So they're frustrated on that end from the man side. And then the women complain that the man is not communicating with me. It's like, how can you expect your man to communicate with you if you don't give him the basic necessity of being in a stable marriage, which is sex, right? So you're like, you're trying, and then the fight starts like, oh, so who gives what first? It's like,
Yeah.
really? Really? That's that important? It's like, oh, if you don't communicate 5 minutes with me, I'm not gonna give you sex today. It's like, what kind of a bullshit analysis is that?
Oh, two
But insanity.
completely different needs.
Yeah. And the thing is, what people don't understand is men are easy to satisfy in the sense of like, you guys can have sex for 5 minutes and he busts a nut. You guys can talk for 2 hours and he's perfectly fine. But nah, what you want me to wine and dine you for 3 hours. And then maybe,
Maybe you'll get it.
maybe. I'm too tired. Oh, I ate so much food.
My tummy's full now.
I got a headache. And the guys are like, I know something that'll solve that headache. That's how guys are.
This
But-
is off topic, but
Yeah.
I rolled a cigarette and I did it right on the first time this time.
What's up? Oh, nicotine. Good that you brought it up. We definitely will have to cut this short soon. But nicotine apparently is a massive inflammation reducer. Who would have known?
Logically, it makes sense though.
Because I think it constricts the heart, the vessels.
It would
I don't know
restrict
what the science
everything
is
because
behind
it raises your blood pressure.
So it passes more blood, more heart pound. I mean, it really does make sense. Like, this is what's funny. When people look at studies, they're like, unless you told me exactly what's happening in the study and exactly what the numbers are, you can't make an analysis. But I'm like, when you think about things, you can actually make theories based on the exact same study. So, for example, if I tell you that nicotine is not as unhealthy as we think it is, then you start thinking, what does that mean? What does nicotine actually do, right? Is nicotine the enemy, or is it all the other chemicals in the nicotine cigarette pouch, right? Or if you get just pure nicotine, is that healthy, right? Little things like that of information. Like the other one that I was surprised about is, you know how people actually get heart attacks?
What do you mean?
You know how when I say heart attack, people say, oh, your heart was clogged up.
Well, that's from what you eat and your daily life.
Do you know who processes the blood in the body, or what processes?
It's your kidneys.
So what happens is that when your kidneys cannot process the blood properly, you get a blockage in the heart. And that causes the heart attack. Now, guess what is the worst problem with kidneys and why people get? What is the biggest disease in America? Please guess it. It's type 2.
Diabetes.
There you go. Surprise, surprise. They all get heart attacks. All of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There are maybe a few that don't. But yeah,
people will say, oh,
medical
you're not a doctor, so you cannot judge. I'm like, I can make a basic assumption. If sugar is bad for you, that means it causes a wide range of issues. Stop eating sugar. Perfect analysis. Nothing to complain about. If you tell them what are the foods that have the least sugar and you tell them animal-based diets, they'll tell you that's fake. You cannot eat animal-based alone because you get a heart attack. But then you reanalyze, it's like if the kidneys are processing the sugar and sugars are causing you type 2 diabetes, inflammation in the heart, possible heart attacks, then you're like, now it all makes sense. Why wouldn't I eat only animal products if I can reduce my chances of having inflammatory problems in my body? Solution, you just solve your health problems. Give me a second. But yeah,
I
the
love
world is a
because you
crazy
can
place.
you can tell when your kids come in because the light just ever so lightly shines.
I
and you just
noticed. I
watch it
noticed
open.
that. But I hear the door jingle. So I was like, oh god, here they come.
It's just like slow light, and then you're like, "Give me a
Yeah.
second."
But anyway, to kind of conclude this, do you have any further questions that maybe we can talk about?
I have no idea. I've been letting you run this. I just like learning things,
Yeah.
and you
The
just
food,
give facts.
man, there's so much that on a personal level we can change. For example, one of the things that people say about as animal-based food is very expensive, but the reality is extremely cheap, because you're talking about food that you can consume that will sustain you through the day. If you eat 4 eggs a day, 1 pound of beef, that for a lot of people that's enough for the whole day, and that barely costs you $6, $7 a day. It's not even that expensive, right? But I mean, we could like to say, oh, I'm just gonna buy this bag of salad that is $4. I'm gonna buy this piece of bread that is $3, and it may last you for like a week, but you're buying all of these things that add up, and I've seen cases where people buy enough food, but they don't end up consuming it and it gets spoiled, obviously. So there's that case. Fruit is a perfect example. Even myself, I try to be very mindful about the fruit I eat. Sometimes about 10% of the fruit that is out there, it gets spoiled. You can't consume it, right? So a lot of this mindfulness, a lot of these animal-based products, they last a lifetime. You can freeze meat, right? Use it when you want. Eggs, the same. They last a month in the refrigerator, no issues. I mean, I drink milk all the time. Man, I drink like a gallon of milk all day sometimes.
I
Maybe
love milk. I'm just
maybe
lactose
that's-
intolerant, so it doesn't love me.
What a contradiction. White people with lactose. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, shit. But raw milk might be an option for you. I've heard of lactose intolerant people switching to raw milk, and it's absolutely helpful.
I miss living on a farm because
Oh,
as
God,
much
you
crap
telling
as
me.
as much crap as I got from it, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't kill animals. That's evil."
Man, get these people out of here. They're the first people that plant these avocado and almond trees that consume so much water. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Well, and the thing is, as long as you appreciate, this might sound a little weird, but I always thanked the animals before I offed them.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. Like in the traditional sense of the word of God, which is care for the earth, that's exactly what it is, right? You say thank you for the food, thank you for living a great life, and I appreciate you being the offer. I mean, that's the natural way we feel. We just don't talk about it. But people who take care of animals and then consume it in their own farms, they probably do this naturally. Like they don't say it, they probably don't talk about it, but that's probably what they do. I mean, all of the tribes that I've seen that are still hunters and gatherers, they do the exact same thing. They pray to whatever gods they do before hunting, and then they say thank you for the food, and they go for it. They're not like it. This is the weirdest misconception. I mean, factory farming is a different story, right?
Well,
But we're
yeah.
talking about the average Joe, right? Jane and Joe that have their own little farm. Maybe they're hunters and gatherers. They do the exact same thing because they understand that there is this relationship between humans and nature. They get it. They really do. Like the biggest conservatives of nature are hunters. But now they're evil people for hunting deer. Like, man, you see how many deer that are out there? Get out of here.
And at the same time,
Yeah.
are they actually evil? Because if you just let it all run,
Yeah.
we have, I don't even know what the right word is. We have taken over, in essence, so much land
Mm.
as people. So if you don't go out and go hunting once in a while, or if there was just no one hunting,
Mm.
everyone that didn't hunt would be complaining because animals would be everywhere.
It's fair.
And I'm not going to say all hunters because there are people who hunt for sport,
Sure.
but most of your hunters will sit there and you use everything.
Mm.
Like, this is going to sound weird, but my dad, every time he hunts, you eat the heart, you eat the tongue, you eat everything. And what we didn't eat ended up going to our pigs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then guess what? You eat the pig. So logically,
Mm.
as long as you aren't just wasting the animal and killing it just to say you did, I don't think there's a way you can say it's evil. Did I feel bad killing rabbits? Yes.
Mhm.
But does rabbit taste really good? Yes.
Here's a perfect analysis to test their logic. If they tell you that it is evil for killing animals, ask them the following question: is it evil to kill your own children in the womb? 99% of them will say it isn't, because it's just a clump of cells. They'll tell you that straight to your face. So then you know these people have no moral guideline. They just feel that it is evil, but they don't really understand what that means.
Fair
That's how you
enough.
know. That's how you know, really. I mean, it's the same thing with the alien theory. Like, you can ask them a following question: do you believe in the right of human existence over any other species? They'll probably tell you something along the lines of, "That's not my choice. It's a woman's choice." But the alien life, that's amazing and interesting. It's all in the same paradigm of illusion, emotionalism. It's all the same bullshit. Also, a good reference for this is just look at these vegans. How do they physically look? Do they actually look
Awful.
healthy? That is the problem. Any vegan who tells you they're vegan and they look fine, they're taking a shit ton of supplements. A lot of them, by the way, you can also assess this. A lot of these vegans that are really vegans, they have a very high pitch voice, very high pitch, especially on the men's side. The women, I mean, they're women, but like there was a story of the
She got the screws from my bed.
oh no.
You have to fix it. Sorry. You can fix it after you're done with your interview.
All right, I promise. I'm super almost done. We're just talking about a lot of things right now.
You gotta make sure you fix it. I don't know what you gotta fix, but you better make sure you fix it. She sounds very upset about it.
Yeah, it's the bunk bed and the screw came off. But anyway, there was a case of a fructitious, natural raw vegan. She was 39. She died for malnutrition. Surprise, surprise.
Well, yeah.
But there's so much ever since. It's again, that whole starting point was COVID. People's eyes were suddenly awakened. Mysterious creature. We have no idea what happened, but a lot of people realized everything that we know is absolute fakery. People thought that animal-based diet will kill you, clog your arteries, and they end up realizing it's the most healthy, closest thing to our ancestry. They were strong creatures. They were even saying that the ancestry in the past that was purely hunters were taller and much stronger. I mean, if we think about the mammoths, these people had to run all the time. They had to hide and then go hunt. They only ate once a day or maybe once a week because there was no food all the time, right? I mean, it makes you wonder, like, what the hell happened to the human race, man? But I'm just talking
We
too
all
much.
got we all no. We all got civilized in our aspect. Because civilized is we now have to accept all of the opinions from everybody else or we're the bad person. So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what happens physically as long as everyone accepts us.
yeah.
Do jumping
That's the
spiders
modern
bite?
world. I wouldn't test it.
Well, this jumping spider wouldn't leave me alone, so now he's crawling on me. So we're buddies. So if he bites me, I'm going to be very sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could research it with your other free hand. Who knows?
Oh no, he's on my shoulder now. Like he's
Ooh.
just chilling.
Oh, I'm not saying anything. Hey, spider. It's a bitsy spider went up the water spout and down came the rain and washed the spider out. No, not you, dog.
I don't mind spiders as long as like they.
Lucky.
Oh,
My wife is
that's where we
terribly
stopped
afraid of
being friends. He tried to go in my ear.
Ooh, not yet. But anyway, I definitely have to head out, unfortunately. But
You gotta fix the bunk
the
bed.
the plan of this whole I'm really trying to interview as many people as possible because I'm trying to collect a bunch of information from people's experiences. So a plan of this obviously is to digest information. No bars hold.
I just like learning things and learning other people's opinions, so it's fun.
Same here. I mean, I pretty much have heard almost everything under the sun, so nothing really surprises me. Um, but hey, There's always that one in a million that tells me a crazy idea. I was like, I never thought about it that way. So to conclude, well, thank you. Do you mind if I post your name under the video guest description?
Go ahead.
All right, too easy. Thank you for your time. And remember, get your finances in order. Go to the courthouse and get your finances in order. Do not date anybody until you feel you're very stable and feel if the only people you should consider dating are people who have children already and were in a stable relationship. That's the only exception. Or if you got to be single for life, do your best as a single parent. That's the best I can do.
It'd be fun as a single parent.
I don't know. When your kids grow up, it's going to be a challenge. But one thing at a time, okay? Don't rush it right now. Their kids, let them enjoy their childhood as best as they can. And teach them the little things that you can teach them about how to do things. I mean, cars. Hey, your kids could be interested in cars. Why not? So
I
do your
had to
best.
learn too much about
But
cars.
the
Okay.
most important thing for children is never create a sense of anger towards, if it's your daughters, towards men, right? And for your sons, never feel that they should be less masculine, right? I understand you can't raise them as men, but if you can give them the tools to understand, hey, this is what your responsibility should be in the future, little by little, they'll kind of learn things by themselves. But do your best that you can, and you'll be fine.
If I have any questions, I already asked you most of them. So
Go right ahead, man. I mean, I'm learning a lot of things, but keep me posted, okay?
you got 10 years on me. If there's anyone to ask advice from.
Yeah, I mean, if I really have doubts about something, I'll definitely guide you to people that I trust more. People obviously older than me, but I'll definitely keep you posted about it. All right.
Before we end
Yeah.
this, what do I name this spider? Because he's not
God.
leaving me alone.
Oh Lord. I don't know.
He's black and white.
Uh, you got me with that. I don't know. Go.
What are you talking
Okay.
All right, my kids are bothering me too much. All right, I'll see you later. Okay, you take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.